Just like that, the market is positive. Futures back in positive territory here as we get going on a Monday. Everything moving back to the upside, including some of the individual names. Tesla, very strong here in the pre-market. A couple of price target increases, a couple of positive notes from analysts, including one upgrade. We'll touch on that. So EVs across the board gaining on the back of that. We did see decent strength overnight throughout the Asian markets and through Europe this morning. Markets in general trying to get back higher, coming off the holiday shortened week last week. We do have some key economic data coming up this week, including this morning, 9:45, we'll get the PMI, S&P PMI manufacturing data. ISM, the more important, or market follows more closely, at 10 o'clock this morning. The services version of those coming Thursday, and then non-farm payrolls on Friday this morning. We get JOLTS this week. We get lots of employment-related numbers. So market will be keying in on that for sure. That's how the futures are looking right now. As I mentioned, back to positive territory here after a gap to the downside. Nice positive day on Friday, or going into the weekend. How was yours?
It was good. A lot of work, but it was good nonetheless. Always short, Brenda. I don't know if that happens.
Yeah, but it flies by. Yeah, I mean, we're back.
Hey.
We're back. What a weekend it was around this place, man. They tore pipes out of the ceiling, put new ones in, insulated them, tested them. I mean, these guys were working 24 hours a day since we left, and got everything done, got cleaned up. I mean, I think this place is cleaner than it's ever been.
Yeah, and shout out to our team.
I know, in my opinion. So yeah, great to be back. We'll have some adjustments that need to be done throughout the day. So. Technically wise, we'll get things back to the way things were. But yeah, market looking good here to start things off.
Yeah, lots to talk about today, Brendo. Tesla in focus, as you mentioned. Elon renewing beef that he has with Sam Altman, or renewing that lawsuit, looking to get the court to block them from becoming a for-profit company as well, making allegations that the OpenAI is preventing some investors from actually investing in other LLM startups like his own. So I'll keep an eye on that. Separately, we had Black Friday, today Cyber Monday, so Amazon definitely in focus. Good data coming from there. Is the consumer still spending south of the border? Crypto ranging in between that $10,000 area, Brendo, and then Kash Patel, one of the board members of DJT, getting possibly that FBI position, has DJT up about 0.8.
Yeah, there was rumors floating around on Friday of that, and then on the weekend we learned, it sounds like anyways, it's going to be a thing.
I got Pat Gelsinger's gone.
Oh, wow. Just coming across right now. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger out. We'll double check on that. But yeah, I wanted to touch on crypto real quick. We get that. I mean, it was so close. There's Intel, by the way. Big move. It just ripped up $1 on that news. So 4% to the upside right now for Intel. Again, CEO Pat Gelsinger out. We get so close. It was $200 away from 100,000 and pulling back now ever since.
Yeah, it's really interesting today. One of the leaders at Coinbase, I will get you his name in a second, his position, basically making the argument that there's going to be market deregulation and new enactment of good regulation, pro-crypto regulation coming in the upcoming Trump administration. So Fayar Shirzad, Coinbase's chief policy officer, predicts rapid progress on crypto regulation under President Donald Trump. There's several different pieces of legislation floating around the House, Brendo. Some passed by the House, some still being put up for a vote that could get accelerated as the time goes on.
Yeah, well, I mean, eventually get to this 100,000 mark, but yeah, it was so disappointing. We're so close, and then it can't even touch it. So here we go. Intel naming David Zinsner and Michelle Johnson as interim co-CEOs. Frank Yeary named interim executive chair, so Pat Gelsinger gone. 5.6% on that here for Intel shares, guys. Good morning.
Morning. They said it. It's like, what we've been saying, Gelsinger leaves, and it's probably going to be a good catalyst. And it's not to cheer. Obviously he had a tough go of it, and things didn't go obviously the way that he would have wanted. So you know what? Obviously it is what it is. Intel goes from an afterthought this morning to all of a sudden 5 points up and potentially breaking it out. We haven't. I guess the position board's not long
I'm
right
long
now.
Intel here.
So I'm long at 65. So just to give you an idea, Intel was one of the weaker names last week, actually pulling back with a lot of chip names. 2560, big time level here on the daily chart. But it's a big one here, 2560. If it gets above that, I mean, you've got potential break and then into the 26 half, 27 level, going to look like a spicy one here. So Intel, it's going to be unavoidable. The volume is going to be tremendous today. It did break out locally 24.5 as well. So I think buying dips is going to be the way to go on this one. I think we're probably going to be trading a lot of Intel. It's going to do volume. I feel as if a lot of people have been waiting for this. We'll see. I mean, I don't know anything about too much about the interims, but certainly a change of direction is not going to hurt for these guys at all. And yeah, that's one reason to have a smile on the face. The other is, of course, Superman did it again in the snow. My Bills are.
Well, it wasn't snowing in Green Bay. It was a little bit, but. Oh, you mean Allen?
Our boys are full. If the Bills get home field, we're a huge problem. Nobody wants any piece of us in Buffalo. I'll tell you that right now.
They're playing.
They're playing unbelievable, inspired. I mean, come on now. You throw 2 TDs, run for one, and have a receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
I love that kid.
Yeah, Josh.
And he's getting married.
Josh Allen will be pretty good there. Yeah, we're long. Hey, welcome everybody. Yeah, we absolutely nailed Intel on that. So we first bought it there at $25 right there. Then it dropped in, and we bought some more down there at $25.50. So I knew as soon as we heard that news that we wanted to get Intel long. So it's already a pretty big one there. Hopefully we don't throw it all away right now. But there it goes, man. Nice move to the upside here for INTC on Gelsinger retirement, effective yesterday. So he's already gone right there. So I got a lot of other things to look at here today. We got Apple. I mean, Apple, like all-time highs. There it is right now, breaking all-time highs right now. Apple will take this out at 237.50, all-time intraday high. I wrote down on the note here today, 230. No, actually, I did not write it down. Hold on a second. That was another one that was at all-time highs. It was SMR. That's taking down 32.50. Yep. 237.81 right now for Apple. So 237.81 right now, according to eSignal. But at the end of the day, we already touched that today. We've already broke it. So there's 238 right there this morning. So, yeah, Apple really, wow, okay. Okay, Intel. Huge move up here right now for INTC, man. I mean, we put on shares there as if it was trading in the open market, right? So that's just another thing that you got to try to do. When you see volume like this, you don't have to be afraid of the stock, even though it is pre-market. It is going to be, obviously a little whippy here because the size isn't quite here yet. But with over 4 million shares, looks like we're going to be pushing that in just in a second. Worth definitely looking at that 35.50 area because, again, hasn't broke through it. And then I'm not going to use VWAP or anything, but that's at $25. So right now we're long 24.80. Got a decent amount of shares. I'm out of a third of it only. So we'll see. But look at that big size there getting eaten up on the level 2. So it's going to be a good day here for Intel. And then crypto today, 95-ish. So we'll have to watch out to see what happens with Bitcoin. I'm going to refresh and thanks to everybody for your patience there on Friday. That was a lot of fun. I think we had a good little run there. There it is, Bitcoin right here, 95.7 coming through for BTC, and I just want to show Ethereum 36. So that seems to be holding up as well right now. IBIT, Mara, a bunch of different things happening. But yeah, Intel, nice little move. There it is, man. We just got a 50 fill right there on Intel. So starting to get more and more out. So right now we're out of about 35% of the trade right now on Intel.
Yeah, there's also a story here from Marvell. It looks like they've expanded a collaboration with AWS. So another chip name to the upside. Not the 5 points that Intel's up, but about 3.5. Well, check that, 3 1/3 now for Marvell. This is now making a 52-week high of its own. So Marvell breaking out on the daily above $95. This will do much less volume for sure than Intel. I mean, Intel's already done 4 million, only not 100,000 here, but the chips looking, at least these chips looking pretty good. Oddly enough, I don't think we're going to be talking too good about NVIDIA today. They're to the downside, but a couple of chip names looking like they're making some runs here. Intel just resisted that 26.5 level. Sorry, I should say. Again, that's this high going back into last Monday. where it tried to break out, big pullback off that level. If it can get through 25.6, it's going to fly.
We actually also have, if you come over here quickly, who is that? Andre. Shout out to Andre, who's working. We don't have Fabian or Ramin here right now. XRP, which I actually own, Ripple, up 67% right now. XRP is absolutely mooning one more time as, we'll have to wait to see what happens with legislation and everything now as we obviously get that change over there on the SEC. But nice move up there, 66% right now for Ripple. Solana getting hit on the head right now, down 10% for Solana. Cardano up 7 as well. Avalanche up 8. Shiba Inu. Where's my guy? There it is. There's Dogecoin right there. 42 cents. I actually bought some at 37 cents on Obi's recommendation right there. All right, so here it goes, man. Intel, just a couple more pieces out there at 50. So far, so good here on INTC. I really think this one's going to be a monster here today. I don't know if we're going to have Michael Nas today or not, but we're going to go back to the desk with Brendo.
You can come back to us, Andre. There we go. Yeah, a few things moving around here. I was just reading a note on MicroStrategy, MSTR, picking up another 15,400 Bitcoin, or filing at least for the purchase of 15,400 Bitcoin, bringing their total to a staggering, Sharif, 402,000 total holding. So MicroStrategy, 3.7 million shares, or filing to sell 3.7 million shares. This is what they do. 1.48 billion. They're still holding 11.3 billion for future insurance. So 402,000 total now.
That's a crazy amount there. And we know that they were using some of the proceeds that they raised not that long ago. They raised about $21 billion in stock offerings. So they're using some of that money, obviously, to redeploy that in Bitcoin. That's nothing new. That's basically what he's been doing the last 3-4 years, leveraging the company, going onto the market, buying more Bitcoin. He gave an interview to CNBC, I believe, 2 weeks ago, where he's making the case that they're more than a Bitcoin hoarding company, that they actually go into the market, add liquidity, and they're on both sides of the transaction. They make money that way. You can go and listen to the interview for yourself. But basically, he's saying, hey, we're more than just that, Brendo. Give us some credit.
I mean, they're definitely hoarding Bitcoin, but also doing other things. Here's a Block as well, SQ benefiting from this move back higher right now. A little bit in crypto, 3%, 91.25 coming into play. Bernstein maintaining their outperform rating this morning, going to $120 on Block.
Getting a little bit better than some of the other crypto. Well, I shouldn't say some of the other crypto names because they're not just a crypto name, obviously Square. But what I like about these is you can call it a bull flag, you can call it a consolidation, whatever. You
guys' mics are live.
It's a very nice consolidation off of 88 on Square. Now, if I was looking at Coinbase, I'd tell you 288. But for Block, you see the 288, top 288. I don't necessarily love it unless you can hold like a 91 in here and then maybe break it out at 94. That's going to be the key. Like, you're going into overhead resistance. When Bitcoin made its rally, obviously not quite getting to 100,000, getting very close. You're pretty close there to breaking out this 94. I think that's like the next shoe that has to drop. Everyone's waiting to see if we can get above 100,000, and as long as we consolidate 90 to 100 on BTC, you got to look at the bid of some of these bad boys. I was saying on Coinbase, it was pretty much a similar story. Like, look at the bid that just sat there at 288. What makes Square good is it's bouncing away from it. Coin, on the other hand, yikes. This is the one that is a little bit weaker than the rest. So I feel like if it loses to 288, or if we lose contain at like 95, this would be the one. I mean, MSTR has some issues as well, but Square needs to break 94. And there's a host of names that are interesting. I mean, $30 on Mara, 94 on Block, if we eventually get to that $100 level, which doesn't look as likely as it did before. Gelsinger's out at Intel. He gone.
Yeah, Intel right now. Intel's trying to fly, but a nice little move on the way back in. And because Randy's here, we also have a nice little move upside in Tesla today, trying to break through that. Well, did break through that 350, and there goes Tesla right now, up 2%. Nice move. I think this takes out this 360. It could happen even today. Right now, as you're all the way out. Can you look at this? All the way back up through 360 right now, and starting to go. So there goes Tesla upside right here. But I was just saying, like, I said this before to some of the guys around here. This is going to make me sick for a while, what's happening here in crypto, because I feel like we've known about this crypto story for a hell of a long time. And it's like Bitcoin has been it hasn't been an obvious investment because no one understands what the heck it is. I mean, now people are starting to feel a lot better about it. But there's tons of people making there's so much money and
there.
so many minted millionaires, like this XRP move right here and some of these other things that have happened, like just looking from where Dogecoin came from, where Solana came from, where Bitcoin came from. Bitcoin is 16 years old. It's $95,000 right now. You have NVIDIA with a $10,000 investment turning into like $1 million in like 6 years. Like, it's not even that hard, some of these things, but it's like, damn, man, you're looking back and it's like, FOMO. So what is the next one? I don't know. But like right now, crypto right here has me buzzing because this is an absolute rocket ship of sort of wealth. And I started thinking about that because of all the wealth that Tesla's created, that Apple's created, that NVIDIA's created, that just being invested in the stock market. And then now you have something else wild here, like crypto. So, wow, man, I've invested way too much money in my kids and not enough money in all these stocks because this just continues to absolutely moon. Wow, what a different life I think we would all have if we made different decisions. But wow, holy crap, some of these names just keep on going. So, yeah, man, so far so good here. Thanks, Randy, for all of that. Yeah, and congratulations to anybody that has that XRP or anything like that, because that is an absolute rocket ship. And I know there's lots of people with millions and millions of those little coins there. So ripple away, and XLM even as well. Hey, this is the thing, exactly, David. That's the whole point. Nothing's real till you sell. But you know what? Like watching a stock like SoFi and all these other names, there's lots of opportunities out there. They're all the same. They're all pieces of paper that we have no idea what they're actually worth. And so I feel like you got to sell everything when you think it's gone up to certain levels, which is why I've been getting out of some Palantir. And then maybe today might be one of the first exits here for SMR, as that's at 31.50, and that's at all-time highs as well right now. So some of these stocks just continue to go higher and higher and higher. Intel's pulling back a little bit. We have half now left. We did get that 23.50 fill. Thinking about reloading it now. The news is out. It's settling down. I think if you didn't make your money already, you're going to have other opportunities, but now you might have to wait till open. So we'll have to wait. 847 right here on INTC.
Back to the desk?
Sure.
All right, let's bring in Michael Noss here, joining us on a Monday to kick things off in what is going to be, as I mentioned, to start off this morning, a big week for economic data, potentially a big week for the overall market. We'll get some PMI data coming up this morning, the manufacturing side, services data coming up then later on. Thursday morning, a ton of employment-related numbers. JOLTS, we get the weekly jobless claims on Thursday, and then the big one, non-farm payrolls coming up Friday morning at 8:30. Whenever you're ready, Andre, just bring him in. There he is, Mr. Noss. Good to see you on a Monday. You want to talk about China here a little bit? We saw a ton of volatility over the past couple of weeks here. I mean, these things trade this way in general. Lots of gaps, lots of holes to fill because of those gaps. What are you seeing this weekend?
Yeah, so China's standing out to me for a lot of actually when I was in the green room listening to Sean talking with that, everything is going up and you're getting crypto going up and it's been a great time in the markets, but we always need to look into what's next. We always need to focus on okay, where is this money going to flow? People are doing very well and they're making money, and where is that money going to flow down to? And China's one for me that is very, very interesting because it was only one of the only sectors that was actually beaten down a lot. And a lot of the news about tariffs and everything are super negative, but the charts really aren't reflecting that. And I love that when there's a narrative out there and then you actually have the charts and they're showing what's going on. So the first chart I have is just FXI. So this is the large cap China type names. And you can see we had that massive spike in October, November, where this index almost doubled. KWeb, I think, actually doubled. We had JD.com almost double. We had a big moves. And then we've slowly been coming down. And where we stopped and where we actually had a bounce last week is a place that makes perfect sense to me, right? It's $29, $30 a share. I zoomed way out on this chart just to show you guys that was the area that was broken out of. And I love this setup. I know me and Neil talk about this all the time, where prior resistance then becomes support. You have all the shorts that were shorting up in that resistance zone that are looking to get out of the positions. You have people who miss the long looking to get in, and I think that might be one of those things that that we could take a play on as well. So as this is pulling back, it puts a line in the sand. Now I'm going to give the obvious caveats that I always do with China, right? They're incredibly volatile. Most of the action is going to take place overnight, where when the Chinese markets open and we're closed. So just understand that a lot of gaps in this chart. And it's just because, again, their market is trading when it's not. But an interesting area. So if I zoom in here to this chart, you can see a little bit better actually kind of what occurred. We hit that level. We spent about 3 or 4 days in that zone. And then on, not Thursday, would have been, I guess, Wednesday last week, we gapped back out of that zone. So I love when you get a very clear area like this because I have a line in the sand now. I'm interested in getting involved in China and Chinese names as long as we hold $29, $28 a share in FXI. And if we break that and we close below that, then I know I'm wrong and it's time to go and it's time to look for some opportunity. I'm either wrong or early, which in my opinion is pretty much the exact same thing. So we have a very clear line in the sand on a weekly closing basis or a daily closing basis under that kind of 28.5 area, 29, it's time to go. So some of these names that are in this index that I think are interesting is the next chart I actually have here is of BABA. And BABA, you can see this anchored VWAP, that purple line above, this is a weekly chart, is the anchored VWAP from all-time highs. You can see we got very close to that. I would say close enough to consider that a touch, and that's where we pulled off of on a weekly chart. The lower indicator I have is a stochastic indicator. This is just representing overbought and oversold conditions. The last couple times we got oversold in the stochastic, this was a good buying opportunity for BABA because it's putting in this low base. We are getting close to there now, and we are down on the weekly chart. We are down, I believe it's 6 or 7 weeks in a row, with last week just being the first green week in a while. So, if this is going to continue, we get a pop back to $100, and through $100 is a great percentage gain already. But then, through that, maybe through this anchored VWAP, if this is going to be a turning point for China, this is where I want to get in. The last chart I have, this one is a little bit more interesting to me. This is JD.com, which is just an internet company over there in China. Didn't get oversold if we look at the stochastic on the bottom. However, it is curling. I could do a lesson on the stochastic where it's got 2 lines, and when it curls, it's kind of telling you that we could be closer to bottom. The reason I think I like this one a little bit better is because it did the same thing. It came close to that anchored VWAP from all-time highs and it backed off. However, there's a lot more of an interesting area here. It's about $30-ish a share, same as the FXI, which makes it easy to remember, that we had as support last year, we had as resistance earlier this year, and it may be acting as support again. So this gives me a really good line in the sand on these ones. My game plan when it comes to China, because these companies are very speculative and erratic, is I'm going to take whatever part of my portfolio I want to allocate to China, and I'm going to split it up into a couple names just because, they're very speculative, and I don't want to be right about the play that China is going to benefit going forward, and we are going to get this up move in the FXI, and then wrong about the security. So you could either play the index as a whole, or you could find a basket of names, and I think that's what I'm going to be spending a lot of my day doing, is going through and trying to find a basket of names, because if this is a turning point, it could be a good risk-reward play to get involved.
The first thing that comes to mind here is across the board, we're talking high level, not really drilling down into, you mentioned a few individual names, but this morning, for example, we're seeing all kinds of strength in the EV side of the China game specifically. Have you noticed any correlation between, a certain group of these being a little bit more strong than the others?
Yes, I think it's more to do with the tariff talk, though. I think that's the biggest deal when it comes to news in China right now, is that if one day you wake up and there's a conversation that there's been some sort of deal reached with US and China, and they're not going to do tariffs, or they're going to be less than the market has expected, then I think you have a big move up. If the tariffs remain in place in the way they're being talked about, it looks to me like it may already be priced in. So I think if you're looking for kind of a fundamental or a news side of things, I think that tariff talk is really what you got to focus on. Because if those are even slightly less than the market is kind of priced in right now, I think you have this kind of second leg. And what's really getting me about these charts is you had that vertical move up we were all here for in China, and now it's back at that level. So if anybody missed that move, it's giving them the second chance. So what we're going to look for around these levels is to see how much FOMO is there in the market, how much are people regretting missing that first move, and if we get a bounce off this level relatively quickly, that's going to tell me that there's a lot of that FOMO in, they're not so worried about the tariffs. And again, another leg higher for China would be just an amazing percentage gain.
All right, lots of things to consider as we head towards not only the end of the year, but into the new year as well coming up. Another segment we should do in the near future, Michael Noss, maybe a winners and losers of 2024 kind of idea to get a picture of, what was strong, what wasn't strong going into the end of the year and into the new year. Michael Noss, back on the recap after 4 p.m. tonight. We'll touch base then. Good to see you.
Awesome. I'll talk to you then.
Looking forward to it there, Michael. And look, man, I hope there's a bounce in some of those Chinese ADRs, no question about it. I mean, look, Alibaba is a name. This is one that I've slapped a trend on. And I think we talked about this on Tuesday, I believe it would have been, potentially, that this is trend down ever since we had that top on the stimulus. But I do like the opportunity for a close above the trend. Not necessarily on a daily chart. This needs to close above the trend. If you can do that, I mean, I'm with it as well here for Alibaba. I think certainly this is one that has a chance to go. The EVs, different story, because you look at what's going on. Like the ones that we always talk about, the Li Autos and the XPengs and the NIOs of the world, they've been taking a little bit of a back seat. I mean, Zeekr's doing some things, and obviously BYD continuing to eat some lunch there. So Alibaba's the one that I'm watching for this mean reversion potential trade. If it can close above the trend line, that's something that I'm looking to get into. Well, I shouldn't say looking to get into. That's something I'm already in it. That's something I'm looking to trade off of that trend reverse. Just for anybody that's still following Intel, it pulled right back into 2480. First 25, there was a fresher at 25. Couldn't get past the quarter mark. Pull back into 2480. If you're wondering what 2480 might be, yeah, I guess it's far back enough. You go back into last week, you had some support at that 2480 price last time we were in this range. So looks like we're holding the 24.8 to 25.6 range here with Gelsinger on the way. Well, sorry, Gelsinger out, Intel up 4 points, continuing to do good volume, now up to 8 million shares. I don't think I'll trade any Chinese ADRs, but BABA certainly that trend reversion. I'm looking for it. It just has to make that break of the trend. I mean, they're still kind of in the penalty box right now.
Yeah, I mean, Alibaba has been one of the better decisions I've made lately. I think it's about time to buy this back. I mean, it's at the 200 period moving average right there at $82. I don't want to buy it right now, but I think if you can get back into this 80, 82 area, you had a dip buy, you did definitely hold that. So, I mean, I'm looking to get back in, but I'm trying to take the Brian Shannon approach too. I don't trust too many of these Chinese names. I think there's way better places to put your money than, into an economy and into a government and into policies that simply cannot be trusted. For me, I think it's a little crazy to park a lot of money in these names, but yeah, for a trade, why not? Alibaba would be the one just because of where it's been going. We've seen Pinduoduo move around a lot lately. That's under that $100 mark, so that would be something just psychologically that you'd want to look at again. But I mean, look at the drip down. Like, some of these things, it's great to play the momentum one way, but when the momentum's this way, it's like, forget about it. So again, trying to break through 100, this is what I'm saying. If you can break through that and play like a 102 long, then maybe you get a bump back into 120s or something like that. But other than that, I mean, I would not trade any of these names, FXI, KWeb, BABA, anything like that to the long side, not right now. I'd much rather, look, the market's at all-time highs and these names are low. What if the market turns around? I think these names are absolutely dead. So I would stay as far away from the Chinese names as possible. And again, I just have very small position left in Alibaba and probably sell it on the next pop.
All right, guys, let's have a look at upgrades and downgrades today. Kind of a late board as a lot of analysts were taking the long weekend off. We have Eris Capital getting the nod today from Wells Fargo, up 0.75 of a point. Likewise, here with Novocure, up big here in the pre-market, 25 1/3%. Paycor also getting the nod from TD Cowen, up 2 2/3. And this one, Stryker, taking a lot of my money lately. This company is involved in the medical devices company and medical software. Keep an eye out for them, 1.2. On the other side of the list, Kohl's, second time it made the downgrades list after filing the report last week, but up 0.5% on the day. Bausch & Lomb up down 0.75%, being downgraded by Morgan Stanley, which also downgraded Glaukos, and then Markel Group, Brendo, down 0.6, getting a bit of a downgrade today from TD Cowen.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to that sign-up page. It's super easy. All you need is your email address, and then we just send you the watch list every single day for absolutely nothing. We do your homework for you. It has everything on it you need to know in the pre-market, what's moving, and why every single day. Just seeing a couple of things popping up here at 9 o'clock. Tesla to kick things off this morning with a few positive analyst notes, including an upgrade from Roth MKM. A couple other price target increases across the board. You and I were just discussing the BYD angle as well over in China. I've just seen Baidu, speaking of China, Baidu securing a license for self-driving tech in Hong Kong, which, if everyone remembers, was specifically where Tesla was going to start.
Yeah, and they're actually trying to do a deal with Baidu, Brendo, separately to try to get into that self-driving and AI in China there. So we'll have to see how that all works out. But specifically today, Tesla with a new full self-driving version, version 13. If you've been using FSD, you likely were using version 12, Brendo. It's got new features. I'm all about that. This one allows you to reverse out autonomously from parking spaces. We're already seeing that in other cars as well. Elon Musk obviously putting a bit of a bet here on FSD, likely rolling out some of his robo-taxis in Texas and California this year. We'll be on the lookout to see what kind of regulatory move that requires. Obviously, they have a lot of competition ahead of them here with Google, Brendo. Alphabet's Waymo does about 150,000 weekly self-driving taxi routes. I don't know. What do you call that?
Yeah.
Taxi something or another.
I was watching a podcast on the weekend that was out of San Francisco's tech-based, and I mean, they were talking like it was normal. You know, they were saying like there's Waymos everywhere. On the streets of San Francisco now, so it's getting to that point. Stiefel, meanwhile, going to $400 on the price target, street high, guys, this morning for Tesla shares.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when that's 400's the high, when really we just double tagged 360 last month, so that's only 10 points from breaking out that 52-week high, which I think is a double top that we can test today. That's certainly within the realm of possibility. Obviously, I'm going to show you on the 15-minute chart. It's kind of like a head and shoulders look from like a 349. So I'm going to leg longs back into that, like 350 into 349 is the way to go. So you're up in this area where we've had some consolidation, but mostly selling on Tesla when it's gotten above the 350 level. You know, today is the day. You got another gap. You put higher lows instead of trending down. You put a nice little higher low into it in that 330 range. But I'd like to be a buyer into 349 on the way to resistance 56, and of course that double top up at 360. Tesla, when it decides to go, we've seen it all go meme crazy. And if you're buying dips, I think patience is going to be the way to go here. It would have to break VWAP to get into 349, 350. Certainly possible. I can see that happening potentially on the imbalances. But yeah, I'm looking long on Tesla today. I like it. And at the end of the day, this is where momentum buying has been. Even if you were trading, for a lot of you, if you were trading on the half day, this is a stock that was pretty relentless in the morning, and a lot of things gave it back once you hit that hour mark in the session, the first hour. Well, this bounced off VWAP and carried it back into the highs and then broke away and was just buy crazy going into the close, which a lot of things were not doing that going into the close. So I think Tesla, certainly I want to play continuation longs on this for today.
Yeah, we have it as the number one trade idea over here on the sticky note for today is going to be Tesla. So again, long in here at 349. I just think we could break the 350 mark and bring it back in. So there it is right there, long 349. Start to go early. We'll upgrade it. What's going on? There it is. Thank you so much. We'll go long there on this move up, upgrade above that 350. So the thing is that we've already broken through it. So obviously, as we were writing this thing down, we're still above 350. Now that we're there, I like to trade the 200 periods at 349. I think Tesla's a pretty big long here today, and definitely one that we want to get into. We don't want to, again, catch that falling knife. I mean, we've done that numerous times on this stock over and over and over again, where it's just fallen down. And I remember this was a bad day there on Thursday, I guess, where it just kept on falling, or a Wednesday where it just kept on falling in all morning. So let's watch to see if there's anything about this kind of a move again here today. So we'll watch out for 350, but we won't be too stubborn if we break back below that area. So 351, good dip opportunities. We'll just wait to see what winds up happening right now. So SMCI is announcing a independent review has now been completed, and there it goes right now, SMCI. Too bad we can't clip it. If that was still working, I'd clip this right now. There goes SMCI up 11%. Independent review apparently done on SMCI. I don't know if that means it's going up or down, but there it is right now, up 10% right now, 36 and change. There goes Super Micro. So again, you want to talk about a double in not too long. There goes Super Micro right now, 36.50, starting to blast now on SMCI.
No evidence of misconduct.
Yep. Starting to go upside right there. $37.
Bye-bye.
We'll have to wait, but there goes Super Micro. You never know where your bread's going to be buttered. We just broke this story at 10%. There's another 3% right there, breaking through 37 and now ripping higher and higher goes SMCI. Over to the desk.
On Super Micro here, if you missed it, again, completion of the independent review finds no misconduct. So good look for SMCI. Let's talk about Amazon. Some positive shopping numbers coming through, both from, I mean, we could talk about Walmart too, because some of these numbers on the Walmart side of things equally as impressive as Amazon going into maybe the bigger day today on Cyber Monday.
Absolutely, Brendo. Black Friday broke records, guys. $10.8 billion in commerce was conducted. That's a 10.2% year-over-year increase. And today, Cyber Monday, expected to even bring in more and set more records. $13.2 billion is expected for today, making it the biggest shopping day, not just Cyber Monday, of the entire season. Buy now, pay later services, Brendo, also really getting a bit of a boost here. They saw $7.6 billion in spending. That was a big move from what they saw last year. The likes of Affirm, some others on this side of the board. We got Klarna, Upstart involved a little bit in it today. They caught a bit of a downgrade, but yeah, good look.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. Upstart, on the other hand, down 5% on that downgrade this morning. But if you look at Walmart shares here, we are positive on the morning, just below 93 at the moment. But Amazon, the big one so far, more than a full % to the upside here, guys.
Yeah, looking good. I mean, I made a few Amazon purchases. I can't tell a lie. What are you going to do? All of those deals started super early. So you're already buying early in the week. Numbers up 10% year over year for Black Friday. And I'm sure, I mean, I was even doing some Cyber Monday sales. Got almost all my Christmas shopping done early. So shout out to Amazon because, to be honest, almost all of it, I would say like 75%. Of my shopping was done with Amazon. So it is what it is, but it's gapping higher. That's all that really matters here. I want to play continuation. It feels like a lot of things that we'll talk about today, super SMCI and Intel a little bit different, obviously, because they have news. It's just you were buying on Friday, and then some of these are gapping and breaking away. So you've got this nice zone, 209, prior highs from last week, and then lots of room into the 215 level here on Amazon. So I like the long on Amazon. The only thing that might be a little bit better, and we'll see how it responds at the open, is Affirm here. So I want to keep an eye. The volume. I wish the volume was a little bit better on Affirm, and I feel like I just moved the level 2 from Amazon Affirm over to SMCI because I think that's going to go absolutely ape today and going to do a ton of volume. But Affirm, another break away from the 52-week high. It's 52-week high and looking it's about $70 is that prior high. I think that's a little bit far away. You can certainly get into a 71 top from Friday as well. So I think this is another one to look for in the retail space. Affirm up 3 points today. Amazon's 1%. Both are going to move. I think as long as nothing crazy happens at the open, I want to be looking for some dip buys. But the problem is going to be Intel's going to do a ton of volume. SMCI news. It's hard not to move this one up the list and want to try to get involved here. I actually think SMCI is probably going to do a ton more volume than even Intel today. This has to be moving up our list for sure.
SMCI is just making sure that we have the right levels.
Oh,
yeah, okay, so for Amazon right here, yeah, 209.50. I mean, you know, I've liked this stock for a hell of a long time. We called this the Katina vacation stock, and I mean, I didn't even sell any, so it's becoming much more than that right now. But I loved this. This is why we called it that, is because of this dip down into this area where we bought, right? And again, this is not like I want to buy some or I'm thinking about buying it. We did buy some down here. And I mean, I feel completely fine being still exposed to this name and still in this name for hopefully a long run. I think I've done zero Christmas shopping, so I'm jealous. That's great. But at the same time, like this is just going to continue to work for many more reasons other than retail. I mean, the AWS, and then some of the new things that they're going to be working on as far as streaming things. You know, with new, they had the Friday game there on Amazon, which was pretty bad. The Kansas City game there that came through. So we'll have to wait to see. But I just like Amazon for everything. Hands in a lot. Continues to be really efficiently run. PE obviously getting a little bit extended here, but as the NASDAQ, you know, approaches once again near all-time highs, I mean, we're still starting to see a lot of value in a lot of these names as we continue to break through. So Apple highs, Amazon highs. Pretty soon, I feel like Google can get back to there if they can settle out this DOJ kind of nonsense. NVIDIA's parts away. But I just really like the Amazon story here, right? The United States is obviously a consumption market. And yeah, retail is always going to be there. No matter how much money people make, it just means they spend more. I mean, that's exactly what happens in my house. And I feel very, very comfortable with Amazon moving forward in the portfolio. And I would still be buying any dip. So we're going to have to wait to see. But like 209, anything where the 200 period is right now, I think is worth looking into it. There's 17%. So put Super Micro, you know, on its head right here as SMCI just continues to make new moves higher, right? So you take a shot on something, this would have been it, right? This has been a double in just a week. SMCI now up to $38 and still going there on a review, and no negligence apparently by the company. So that's good to see. We'll now wait to see where it goes from here. I'm guessing a lot higher than where we are right now, 38.50 SMCI.
Let's talk about crypto. Here's Bitcoin just hanging out here just below 98,000 right now. Once again, as we were saying, we got so close, $200 away. Going back to the end of the week, last week, here we are back to 95 and change once again, negative so far today for Bitcoin.
Brendo, do you know that 50 million Americans own some version of cryptocurrency?
I'm not surprised.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
50 million Americans own some sort of, again, of cryptocurrency, says the Coinbase chief policy officer. He's predicting this wave of pro-crypto regulation coming in from the Trump administration. Key crypto legislation that's hanging out right now in Congress, the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act. That passed the House, still waiting for clearance in the Senate. The Clarity for Payment of Stablecoins Act also hanging out there, looking to be passed possibly in the new session. Over $245 million was raised by these crypto-related political action committees, Brendo. So definitely having more of an influence in the political sphere. So we'll keep tabs today on Bitcoin.
Yeah, here's MicroStrategy as well, up a full percent now, just testing 391.5. If you missed it earlier, 15,000 and change additional Bitcoins being picked up by MicroStrategy, bringing their total to an astonishing 402,000 in total now for MSTR. I was reading an opinion piece this morning saying, if this goes into the NASDAQ, or when this goes into the NASDAQ 100, it'll trigger nearly 20 billion in potential funds buying the shares of MSTR. So potentially a catalyst there. But green across the board here, guys, pretty much for crypto.
Joseph's excited.
Yeah, and that's with Joseph with a big smile. The 95,000 level, certainly has held a couple of times here on this last little pullback. So we had the dip, we didn't break 100,000, you got to 91, now you're holding higher lows off 95. So this bounce off 95 is pretty key. You make another retest of 98. I think when you keep putting in these higher lows, eventually you need to actually break it out. I think that's a decent chance to happen in the next couple of weeks, as long as 95 wants to hold on. We talked about a couple of names, I think, already. Coinbase 288 for that 95 to hold. I think that's a good one. Block I also mentioned, but I want to talk Mara here a little bit. So Mara's doing another thing, which is they're down 2.5% right now. So I haven't really talked about any short ideas here today, but with this being down a couple of points, and a rejection on Friday, if you're following along the stream, rejection of the 30 level on Mara, I'm looking for a lower high, like pop and fade here on MARA. You got 28 resistance, you got 29 resistance. It's already weak. So if we get a pop and continue this move off 95,000, I think this one is going to be a bit of a fade. Probably a healthy pullback off to just a technical $30 level here for Mara, but this is the one name in the crypto space that I'm looking short to pop in at that even dollar.
Oh man! All right, I got just messaging. I got a lot of people messaging me about crypto and stuff. All right, so I'm still on SMCI. All right, so we're just talking about cryptos. That's good that I was just talking about all those messages. All right, look, SMCI just touched $40, by the way. Like it just fell off of that level. So 39.71 or so there. Looks like the high for SMCI as that is now pulling back in. Look, I don't know if there's going to be a Ripple ETF or what exactly is going on with that. I was also looking at some Stellar Lumens here as well. Those are some coins that I have. Ripple just continues to rip up. We have a little piece of this, but nothing. I actually sold most of this at $1.50. So Ripple absolutely ripping right now. And just looking around, Ethereum needs to get going as well. You see the last 7 days, some of these different changes. Of course, XRP not up 70% today, up 30% today, 1.8% here the last 7 days. So crypto, we've seen this 35 now, 3.5 trillion on the market cap. As many of these names continue to rip around. I mean, we've talked about it. I had IBIT last week at 53.50 as the trade of the week. This week, obviously, I'm choosing Palantir. This still continues to be a little bit higher than where we've been here with IBIT. I love playing these dips into certain levels, but the problem is that right now you're underneath the 200 period moving average. So it's been a while since we've traded IBIT, right? I mean, this have to go back to November 29th was the last day that this was even open. So it's been doing a lot, but yet the market is still around where it is, right? 96,000. We went up to that 99, came back down, dipped around a little bit. I think IBIT is definitely a dip buy opportunity today. I feel like it is going to break 100,000 in just a matter of time. So you're waiting for those opportunities. And right now, VWAP is at 54.40s or so. So that would be right where we're at right now. So I'm going to let this settle down. I think I'm going to punch the long if we can break the day's high in and around 54.60. So I think 54.60, which is kind of where we're going to open up. I'd like to see us break that, then take this 200 period, and then we'll see if we can climb a little bit higher. But I don't want to I'm not using too many technical indicators right now because, again, Bitcoin's been open for the last 5 days while IBIT hasn't. So let's let it sort of settle down here. I think I like the pre-market break of 54.70 or so on IBIT.
On the shopping side of things, the buy now, pay later names, for the most part, upside. Upstart, not one of those, unfortunately. 5% to the downside here this morning for UPST. Just bounced off 74 in the pre-market. Trying to hold higher, though, around 74, 75 right now, and a downgrade for Upstart.
Yeah, JP Morgan, not really liking this one today from neutral to underweight. However, we did get a price target upgrade, so a bit of a controversial downgrade. They're moving the price target up from 45 to 57, basically saying, look, they're trading at 9 times forward earnings. That's historically high, given their price action in the past. They're also talking about origination volume, which is significantly lower from that $13 billion that they had when they were trading at above $70. So not a good look there. On the other side of the coin, the price target upgrade does give them a bit of let's see how they do in the future. But right now, it's a bit of an expensive look, Brendo. So kind of a double-edged sword here with JP.
Yeah, more and more competition in this space as well. If you had to pick one out that's relatively weak today, it's probably Upstart.
Yeah, there's pretty much no question about that. Upstart, it's the one that's languishing, and I think that's the reason. One of the reasons why I looked over for Mara. If we get a pullback in Bitcoin and pop and fade, you got to have. I always want to have something that I'm looking for the other direction in. So if things look a little bit weak, I know where I want to jump over, and I think that's going to be Upstart. If you see Amazon, you see some of these other ones like Amazon, the firms start to fail. I mean, this is already breaking a pretty decent upward trend here on its consolidation. You got 80, which was technical resistance multiple times, so clearly there's a seller out and about. You've got a very clear support at 70, prior support at 77, which I think turns into a new resistance zone on Upstart. The difference is, I just think there's a better chance on a pop and fade on Mara than there is on Upstart back into the 77. I just want to maybe pivot very quickly because with only 10 minutes to go here, I wanted to show what's going on here with SMCI. So for anyone if you did miss it, the review is done, no improprieties found, and the CFO is out at SMCI. So this is the move that it's making. You're getting a nice relief rally. Prior high was about this 39, which it's broken up and down a couple times through that 39 level. So VWAP sits at 37. I want to be looking for longs on SMCI today. But that's 77 on Upstart. Prior support turning into resistance. There's not too many names which are just weak today. Mara is relatively weak. Upstart's another one. Stellantis, I guess, has its own news. So, if you're looking for short opportunities, I think I'd put Upstart in the other end of that bucket. But, yeah, I feel like SMCI, Intel, Tesla, crypto, got enough to trade without looking at Upstart.
I know Fabian just getting in now, but we still don't have the position board. We're still long on Intel right here as well. Look, here's another name for you. What about Palantir right now? The NASDAQ name now switched over to NASDAQ. And this name, again, talk about just an absolute banger of a symbol over the last little while. You guys know, obviously, the affinity for Palantir here, and why not? The way it's been moving. Unfortunately, our charts won't switch over from New York to NASDAQ ever, so that's pretty something to talk about probably. But back into 67. So I just wanted to look at this because we were starting to get going there. This is going to be all-time highs again. Like I said, some of these names just continue to just be impressive, to say the least. 67.88 for Palantir is all-time highs, and we just touched off that again. So I actually have an order to go long breaking through 68 right here on Palantir, but it's really fallen back in. So I think we maybe have to wait for this. Palantir's been tricky sometimes off the open where you've had some nice moves down in and then had a nice recovery back in the rest of the day. So sometimes this name just gets sold off in the open. It always seems to be up, honestly. So this 66.50 area, again, if the market's going to be up, which we are, I'm not sure how far this market wants to fall in for PLTR. But if it gets anywhere near this 200 period, 66.50, 66 and change, I really, really like this level down into there. So we'll see if we can get a dip and rip here for PLTR. The market's not necessarily humming here. You're up 0.18 right now. It's a little far away. The ES also flat, completely flat on the day right now for the ES. So we're going to have to wait to see where that gets going. I don't have the weekend charted over there. So we'll wait to see, but 6,500, 6,050, 6,500 would be nice in the S&P. But for right now, NASDAQ looking to hold 21,000. So I think Palantir probably holds any bids if it can get down there. So let's just chill out on it for now. But I do like Palantir breaking through 68 if it gets going. Quick little look on those imbalances because I don't think we've necessarily looked there yet. We only have New York names, so in 2 minutes we'll get NASDAQ names going out right now. Pfizer with a buy. Buy that if you want to there. SMR as well, downside. The reason why I say about Pfizer, absolutely destroyed, man. I mean, this name has been really gotten kicked for the last little while. Nice to see a bid, though. Look what you're seeing here. These are all bids. Bid. Gold is the only sell that we have right now. That's going to be Barrick Gold. Let me check out what GLD is actually doing here right now just to see what's going on in that spot. Path Forward is there. Walmart's a buy right there as well. Pegs to Riches is there as well. All right, so gold today down. So that would make a little bit of sense why we have Barrick as a downgrade. And I've just been getting out some more. So I got out some more here at $25 on Intel, just trying to sort of pat the stats here as we get ready to open up. So Palantir nicely moving. And then, by the way, SMCI has kind of made a move back a little bit there. We highlighted it when we were right here, right when it got $40, man. I switched over to it. I'm like, there's 40. We have fallen back down about $1.50 from that area. I guess $2.50 now as we approach this VWAP of 37. So this is going to be really interesting with only 5 minutes to go. Today should be an absolutely fantastic day. We've already talked about MSTR. This is going to break $400. And I just think like, wow, if this keeps going, Bitcoin, this name is just going to be an absolute rocket ship right now. 392 for MSTR, looking to get a lot higher here. I like MicroStrategy.
All right, let's go on to Meta here. There's a couple other things actually moving around. I just want to mention real quick. AMC was one of those, holding $5 right now on a bit of a gap, 1.4% here for AMC. Best Thanksgiving weekend ever.
Wow.
For this company, traffic-wise and ticket sales-wise for movies. So a lot of people going to see movies on the long weekend, but I was not one of those, were you?
No, I was not. But Neil took his daughter to see Moana.
There you go.
And that was her first movie ever. I'll tell you all about that. But yeah, interesting. Hopefully more movies come out and they get a bit of a bump here, Brenda. But let's talk about Meta.
Sure. Because
it's up 1.2%. And here's a bit of a headline we haven't seen too much. OpenAI looks to add advertising to AI products, the CFO tells Financial Times. And here's why it's important. Because they're poaching advertising talent, Brendo, from Meta and Google. Now, we've talked about OpenAI disrupting Google's possible business model there with search. We haven't talked a whole lot about how they could influence Meta by poaching some of their talent. So we'll have to keep tabs on that. Obviously, they had to generate revenue somehow other than that recurring monthly revenue, advertising revenue being the first.
There's been a lot of people with a lot of opinions on how they're going to eventually be able to monetize this. Eventually, maybe we start seeing some ads attached to AI searches. Here's Google. Red, just went red on that dip down below 169, guys.
Yeah, so, I mean, out of all those Mag 7 names, Meta is okay. It's holding the 50-period moving average, which is not bad. Like, it's, you know, like 575 is a 50 SMA on the daily. It's kind of bouncing, doing a little bit of a wedge on the daily chart. So you're sitting here, maybe you break out a 578. Apple, on the other hand, is pretty much, like, if it pulls back from here, it's a 52-week high, or all-time high fail. I have 237.50 as a 52-week high. I know it ticked above it at one point, but certainly triple top here on the daily for Apple. And really, it's not even, it's like a quad top on the daily for Apple. I think if it can break through 237.5, this one can absolutely fly. So I do like some Apple today. I'm not going to be looking at Meta. Probably going to stay away from that one. Like Sean, and we only have 3 minutes to go here, but sort of like Sean, I've been getting out of Intel. The last little dip, I have 10% left. The last dip in here, actually, I didn't see it get to 70, to be honest with you. I didn't really see it get to 70. I did see the break of 80, got thinned out a little bit, but 24.6 here on Intel is a pretty solid previous support or breakaway area. So I want to see it hold on to this 24.6, 24.5 at the open. Certainly the sellers have come in. Some of the momentum volume probably went over to SMCI, to be honest with you, as that's probably going to be a better runner today, I do think, but I don't want to lose sight of Intel. SMCI, I want to see it hold onto VWAP at the open, and then I want to look for longs on that as well.
All right. So, yeah, I was still looking at MSTR here. I'm still in Intel. I'm going to try to see if we can hold on just a little bit more to that one. Yeah, I mean, I like honestly, I like all of these stocks. It's just a matter of time to figure out where exactly we want to go with all of them, right? I mean, I think Meta goes higher from here. I think a lot of these names continue to reach new heights. All right, so here we go. Coming out right now, we don't have too much on there. We have Amazon with a sell imbalance, so that didn't really, it looks like we were at 210 down to 209.50, a little bit of dancing around there. SMR continues to be a buy, but no other real big NASDAQ plays at all here. QBTS, this is a quantum play, right? So that could be the next space there. Quantum, we'll have to wait to see. But yeah, so I like Google, I like Meta. I mean, all of these names, not unfortunately, but I guess, are down near the 50-period moving average, including Google, including Meta, and I'm talking about on the daily. Meta's actually a little bit of a better example here. See, here's Google, just trying to hold it and trying to get a little bit higher. But if you like Google and you like the space, you know, instead of dip buying all of these names, you could buy the NASDAQ so that when these names get going, that's Google again, oh, come on, charts. When these names get going again, then, you know, you're going to have the NASDAQ bump up as well, obviously. But there's Meta right there, 575. I mean, you're still underneath the 600 buck and underneath the 50-period moving average. So needless to say, I like Meta. I think we'll have Tesla probably come in quickly here off the open. So we'll see if that fills 350. We have Apple breaking higher. That's going to be a trade that I like too at 238. So a couple different trades that we're waiting for here off the open with only 20 seconds left. I don't think we're going to have, we'll have a bell for the sound. We don't have our green screen.
Yeah, the one thing that didn't come back, yeah. But the team did a fantastic job for us. But we got the first bell of the week. It's Cyber Monday. Not much is on sale because almost everything is to the upside.
Yes, sir.
So let's get this party started in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So, I mean, right away, VWAP is going to try to hold here on SMCI. If you're just tuning in now at the open, SMCI review completed, no impropriety found. CFO is out. I suppose, I mean, I guess that's a good thing. I don't really, the review being done and then no impropriety is the big story. Trying to hold VWAP, it is not doing a very good job of it here. Like to see it hold on to that 37. Okay, nothing really happening in Tesla as far as dip buys are going because Tesla shooting to the upside almost immediately. Up through a 353 and now continuing to go higher. We wanted to buy the dip. We might just have to look for VWAP. This might break 355 instantly.
All right. Intel, Apple's going. There goes Apple, by the way. It looks like we miss Apple. That's crazy. We missed that break on Apple there. As I put the order out, but we did miss it. It does scream to the upside there. 238.10 is where my order went for Apple. Damn. There goes Apple, man. Huge move up. There it goes, everybody. Apple, monster to the upside. We'll take a bid there at 60 and wait for a 238 to come through now. But man, oh man, there goes Apple. Monster trade alert there for Apple as we put some money in our pocket, even just on that little baby reload, or not reload, that we took a little small position. But then it rips up 30 cents for us, Apple. All right, there goes Palantir. Palantir falls right into our lap as well. We talked about maybe getting something if it came into the 60 area. So we'll do that. We'll take a little bit of an Palantir bid at the bottom. Man, I thought I would sort of come in and be a little slow there today.
Whoa,
and instead we are,
that's wrong.
We are loading up like crazy. So Apple, Palantir, and Intel, 3 longs for your boy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to reset the position board. Any fill we're taking, because it's not showing, I'm not short Intel, I just covered some on the offer. So it's incorrectly plotting those ones. We'll have to reset that one. I didn't get Apple either, as you can obviously see. SMCI is losing VWAP in an absolute hurry here. So it's looking like the bid is not coming in on SMCI as it's absolutely flushing.
Go Apple.
Bitcoin
Jeez.
is moving to the upside, and Mara is still looking relatively weak. But it's SMCI and Intel dips we want to try to get some involved in. And Tesla is now through 355. It's gone. There's no dip buys to be had. I'm going to try and pick it up on the way back in here as Tesla is absolutely flying in.
All right, I've said this a couple times. It's 9:32, done. If there was no show, no trading, that's it, done. 60 cents in the money, Palantir. 40 cents in the money, Intel. 70 cents in the money, Apple. That's it. So, you don't need to be going too crazy here. Day trading. This is why we're doing the show. Show you guys that there's opportunities basically every day to put these kind of trades on. Look at Palantir, boom, right there. What did we talk about? 66.60? Is that the level that we talked about? Well, we're long at 66.65 right there for 58 cents, right? Intel, again, nice runner all the way back up there to the upside. So nice move into $25 there for INTC. Apple, again, more outs there at 239. It does rip as high as 239.40. Let's just let this thing settle down. Again, good trades off the open, 3 for 3 on some pretty good ideas, man. Long Intel we've got on here. Tesla we miss. SMR would be the next one to look at. So let's have a quick little look there. Wow, man, we start December off just like sort of how November ended. But there goes Intel, nice move. I was going to check out SMR, $30. So this is actually going the other way, back down into the 200 period. Let's go Apple right now, trying to take down 239 as well. Again, man, you could be late to the party, but as long as you have the plan of action, we knew we wanted Apple long. It started ripping. We went over there and took it. It's Palantir, though, that is really making them sing right now. That's starting to go back up up to the upside. 50 cents in the money right there. NVIDIA, 138.50.
Oh, everything is broken out now in a big way. So Tesla almost hit $360 there.
Yes,
$359, the new
sir.
high on Tesla. Remember, triple top up at 360 on Tesla in here on the daily chart. Technically 362, but you know it's going to be adjacent to that. I want to play first available dip. We didn't get the break at 355. We're going to have to play off this on the first consolidation dip that we're able to get. SMCI is really, it's actually languishing underneath VWAP here. I'm not sticking the bids in yet. I want to see it hold on to VWAP, or at least if it's not going to hold VWAP, pull right back into like a 35 and give a better price for a long opportunity there. So Tesla is the one, I think that's the one that got away from me. We didn't get that 355 break. Just going to have to be a little bit patient. I still think SMCI is going to absolutely fly. But Tesla, we're going to wait for the dip buy and see if we can't get in. I am not short Intel, although that would be in the money if I was short Intel. But I am not. I'm looking for a 2460 reload on the long. I'm long at 86, actually.
Yeah, they're gonna restart it. Yeah, I'm long Intel at 65s. Everything else is right though. Apple long, obviously Apple's at 70 cents in the money. Intel and Palantir for me has been the jam right now, as you can clearly see. Palantir continues to go higher, so we'll just put a salute to everybody there and say Palantir today live at Trader TV Live continues to be a name. We can check out crypto names, anything like that as well. I'm going to watch out for, again, Apple just to continue to go. A name that we liked, it took out the 52-week high there. And we mentioned this last week, right? I mean, every time you think that Apple's at a level, it just makes new levels. So here comes 240 now for Apple. So that's definitely worth holding on. I'm kind of a good thing that we had, been able to hold on to some of these names here today because, yeah, the rips are happening right now in front of us. I mean, there goes the NASDAQ up 0.62 right now and going. So really happy to be back. I'm hoping a lot. Oh, there goes NVIDIA as well. We liked 139.50 for NVDA, and there it goes. Might as well take a piece on that one as well. There goes NVIDIA, 139.50. We're quad long right now. 4 big longs for you. Apple, Intel. Our day's already done. Profit-wise, but we'll still continue to put on some shares here as we go. So watch out for NVIDIA, Palantir, Intel, and Apple.
And here comes SMCI is trying to join the party. Although I was going to say, here comes Tesla pulling back in toward VWAP. So 355 was the breakout on on Tesla. It looks like it's trying to get back in. Big rejection through 358, as you can see here. So we're looking for that 355 on the way back. SMCI was just able to hold 37 even. There's a refresher, at least right now, there's a refresher at 37. I'm giving it to the lower high here, the 36.50. If it cannot hold on to that, I want to dump it and wait for VWAP to come in. SMCI, I think this is going to do it's going to do over 100 million shares worth of volume. So I want at least a few cracks at this one. Ideally, it holds VWAP, but if it can hold 36.5, I don't mind that either. Intel is struggling now to get back above the 25 even zone. I tried to pick some up here at 24.70. We did not. Now I'm sitting at the 24.8 for a reload, and I'm going to scalp into 25 even and then try to hold for some above VWAP on this one as well. So I mean, Tesla's starting to come in. Only have the 2 longs. I want this to pull back in. Give me some 35s. Give me some 55s here on TSLA. Up 3 points today, looking absolutely fantastic. Mara is already tanking. Yeah, well, the thing about shorting a pop is if you're looking to short the pop, there actually needs to pop to go short. This one was looking relatively weak the whole way, and it's absolutely bleeding. There might be an SSR bounce in this stock because it could go down 10%. So I'll have a look at that. That might be the only way to play Mara today for any longs.
All right. Oh, man. Yeah, Mara. Like the name, of course. But, okay, here we go. So it is Apple still trying to go a little bit higher. NVIDIA's kind of fading out. Intel, okay, good. Now the position board obviously working out. Okay, what came back in, though, looking at this right now, is Palantir. So Palantir, we talked about getting out on the way up and that we were, pretty much clocked out, and not clocked out, but took out most of our positions right there. We'll try a little small reload now on Palantir and see if if we can get that. We just bought some 60s or whatever we just got there. What did we get there? We got, 66s right there for PLTR. So let's see if we can get something going now. We'll take out another piece if we can here, and then even a piece a little bit higher for PLTR. But again, it has to get going one more time. There it is, nice little out there on PLTR. So far so good here on this name. Let's just keep the party going long, hopefully. Palantir, NVIDIA's the one. Now that's starting to go. Let's see if we can get through. There it is. Let's go, NVIDIA, man. Big trade alert one more time here for me on NVDA, as this one just wants to keep going higher as well. So we'll nail this. We'll hit this out of the park today, guys. Palantir, NVIDIA, Intel, and Apple. What's up, Adara?
We have PRs out to the upside. Para Zero, this is a day 2 play. This one got quite the move on Friday during our short and trading session. Looks like it's the same catalyst moving it today that moved it on Friday. The company received some approval here in the EU, regulatory approval. So good look here for PRZO, which has a float of about 7.5 million shares. It's also worth noting on the non-small cap side of things, CRWD down about 2% here right off the open. No news that I could see on this. It is worth noting this is actually a day 3 earnings move. They reported on Wednesday, or they reported Tuesday after the close. So Wednesday was day 1. CRWD, PRZO, guys.
PRZO certainly going to be worth a look there. Come on, hold that 37. Yeah, you're starting to hold again here. Another refresher at 37 on SMCI. I want to take something out of the quarters the next time we're able to get it in here. If we can grab this one at VWAP, it's still a decent consolidation. You're still getting a pullback in Tesla. I'm not catching falling knives with this, but you've now bounced over VWAP and over that 335 zone. So looking to engage it here at 355, I should say. So engaging at 356. There's your wick under VWAP. There's your close above there at 355. So we're long SMCI. We're long Tesla for the first time here today in front of that 355 level. We like it at VWAP. You have a top here at 358. So I want to scalp the next $2 into that high for TSLA. It's Intel, which is starting to lose a little bit of contain here. Only down 1.7%. So if it can't hold on to this 50 level here, I still actually have just over 10% of what we had originally. Never a good opportunity to get back in on a reload. But if it can do a rounded bottom off this prior high at a 24.3, that'd be worth a look there. So the news, of course, being Gelsinger has already resigned, and he's on his way out. So Tesla dip bot. We just took some out in front of 357. We'll look to get some out in front of 358, and then hold for a test of the high of the day.
Oh, boy. Today's a day, again. This Palantir, look at these reloads that we had down there at the bottom for PLTR. And again, this just goes to show you got to stick with, the names that you believe in, the names that you like, and give yourself some reasons to do that. And I mean, this is what day trading is all about. These are all the names that we talked about: Intel, Tesla, SMR, NVIDIA, Apple, Palantir. So we're trading the right names, and we're going to be at the highest spot today that we've been at all day right now, just simply by holding on to many of these plays. Apple has come back in. We've gotten lighter and lighter on this name, and we actually talked about our day and where we were with it, and whether or not we were going to continue to trade with aggressive size or anything like that. It's been a good day here, needless to say, as Apple take that out 239.50. That was $1 right there, so that was a good out. We'll see if it wants to hold some of these levels, but so far so good. Palantir, huge move. NVIDIA, 33 cents in the money, but look again, getting some out at the top. Let's get another piece out right here at 95 as we just start to slowly grind out some of these trades, right? Intel, the 200 period's trying to hold right now. We'll still be up on Intel, but we could give it all back. I mean, if this doesn't hold right there, thinking it's probably worth another shot in around this 24-25 area. So if we can get that, I think we'll dip by it. But realistically, man, the stock that is P&L number 1 by far is Palantir. P&L, Palantir, it all kind of makes sense there. Nice move to the upside there for Palantir. And again, we talked about this early. We talked about that. We like these levels. It came right back in twice, right into the levels that we had talked about. So yeah, man, a party on, Wayne, for this one, because it's been an absolutely fantastic stock today. PLTR dip buys right into our areas. Like when that happens, man, that's where you have to bank. You have to put on shares, man. You got to do that twice in a row. Upside move there, dollar club for PLTR.
Yeah, we had the dollar club in Tesla, but it just lost the 455 level, so it looks like we'll be out of this one. I'm not reversing into the short on Tesla. We're just going to jump out of it. SMCI, it only ever went like 50 pennies in the money off that 37 test, but 37.5 just continue to hold over and over again. I still haven't found a spot to get back into Intel or to add into Intel. It's still looking a little bit weak. I'll get to that in a second. But we just wicked here at 36.5. If it can finally put a rounded bottom in, I'm going to take another shot. I'm only looking long in SMCI here today. I just feel like it has so much room, obviously, to rally. It did fail at that 39 level, but that prior resistance has held here at $36. So nice little round off here, I still think is a good opportunity. As far as Intel goes, dip into 24.5 just came in. It still hasn't broken Friday's highs, but I haven't seen anything worthy of getting back into this one until we get some kind of a rounded bottom. So we're still holding light on Intel, but I want to get into this long one more time. Just have to let it calm down a little bit. As far as Apple goes, it did pull back into VWAP. I didn't get the break either, but it's still holding above 238. So 238 looking pretty good here on Apple. The market's going to have to calm itself down a little bit because you're getting a nice push back into the high, and we got numbers coming in a second, but some of these names are pulling back into VWAP. So you want to be patient. I want to try getting these not on the way down and try to get them on the way back into the upside like we played there with Tesla. Let's go to ADRs.
We're going to be getting our first numbers of the week here in just a moment with the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI. This is going to be the final print of this metric for November. Coming in here 49.7, so that's going to be above the forecast of 48.8 and the previous print here 48.5, so slightly higher than expected S&P Global Manufacturing PMI print. Not impacting the market too much. We have the Qs up 0.2% right now. The SPY actually a little bit weaker, basically flat on the day. So we do have the Nasdaq and these tech names outperforming. It's also worth noting, keeping an eye here on NET. That's going to be Cloudflare. They did get an upgrade to overweight from Morgan Stanley alongside a $130 price target. They're up about 6% right now, guys.
Okay. Not really doing too much to any of these positions right now. I mean, NVIDIA, that continues to try to touch out that 140. The reason why I like this NVIDIA 140 level, I mean, I feel like it's worth holding on to just, whoa, yeah, that's right. Just a little bit now. We're above. We're trying to go. That's 136 if the market wants to continue to go higher, which it clearly is. I like this stock. I like it above 140. I think it's worth holding. So we'll do that and see if we can reap the benefits of holding that one. Palantir, we actually wrote it down. The all-time highs right now coming in for Palantir, breaking that 68 is actually what we liked. I'm going to cancel that 68 bid because we are offer because we already have a lot of shares. It just got upside there, and I didn't actually notice because I was looking for the next trade. But this is what happens sometimes. You got to adjust your thinking. But there it is right there for Palantir. I still, we will take a piece out there at 67. It is going to be a nice Dollar Club winner. I mean, we're happy with that. But you can always get a little bit more. So let's wait to see. There it is. We get that 70 fill. But it's still not moving exactly the way we'd hope it would. NVIDIA's moving back down right now. And then Intel does get a little bit of a bump off of that level. So we'll stay there. I'll get another piece out on Intel there in the 70s. Why not? We just bounced off the 200 period. We did not get any reloads on that name. So right now, Intel just continues to be where it is. I still like this 2440. I know you were in Tesla.
It actually, so the annoying thing about Intel is it caught a huge bit off that number. It was the first green candle of the day. I was looking for that to close green. It closed green. I tried to snag some off 24.50 at the open. Unfortunately, was unable to do so. Now it's catching a nice little bid. I do like 24.50. If we can grab that, I'm going to sit on the bid and just see if we can pick it up. Apple bounced off VWAP. That was going to be next. Had to wait for the names that we missed on breakouts to pull back into VWAP. This distinctly different, at least temporarily, from Tesla. Because Tesla broke prior support, was all the way down to 53, but look at the shot back up. So right at 945, we get a number, and we get a nice bounce in multiple names. So you're still back above VWAP. I'll look to reload this one back off of VWAP if we get it. So we're only in Apple and still Intel, but we never got that bid. Second the number hit, you saw a big-time buy come across a lot of names. You are still getting a big move overall in the market, but I just wanted to come back over to SMCI, which is still giving it up slowly. It's not as volatile as I was expecting, but now it just needs to break trend. So if we're going to get back into this, it's simply going to have to break the trend here. So you got a clean move down, has to close above trend line, look for a bit of a mean reversion play. As a consolidation, not going to be the way to go here. They're just selling the news and have been since that 40 level here on SMCI. But with the market at the highs, it seems unlikely to me that Apple shouldn't at least retest back into 239 here, bouncing off VWAP. We're pressing tops here. What is strong that I'm not seeing? Meta's back at VWAP. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, everything I'm looking at is pulling back into VWAP when the market's at the actual high of the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, good call on that one. I mean, I think you're right. There's a lot of names right now that are just kind of floating around. I mean, I think it's important to note that where the Nasdaq is on some levels here. So it's a 30-minute chart. Like, you're not too far away from this 21,350 area. So if we can get back up into there, I mean, then you're talking about oopsies. Where did my chart go? Then you're talking about like breakout levels, right? I mean, you're again. Come on, chart. There it is. So right there is what we're looking at. You're just trying to get through all this consolidation and then a pop through. So 21.2, definitely in target right there. I could see a fade. 21.2, you can maybe trade it against, well, that's 21.270. That's quite the move higher right there in the NASDAQ. I still think there's room to go, which is why we keep on going HOTTOGO, because right now NVIDIA is hot to go, right up to the upside and still mooning. NVIDIA, 55 cents. Palantir, I mean, this has been the chicken dinner winner of the day here, P&L-wise for the show, Palantir, as that continues to go, man. Intel, wow, what a burner this one's been as well. Intel, we love you long time, as there it goes back up to the upside. See ya, Pat. We knew this would happen. I actually thought it would be up a lot more. A CEO that's absolutely destroyed shareholder wealth. I thought it would have been up more than 3%, but still a nice move there for Pat and company. He'll make
no longer.
He'll make out like a bandit while all the shareholders will get screwed. So that guy obviously sitting now on multiple yachts. Okay, so NVIDIA now trying to go, man. Dollar rate now, hopefully for NVDA. Now back to the not all-time highs, but close enough. We got to get through that 150 still. Nice move there. Days high for NVDA, and we are at the highest spot we've been at all day right now, because Apple's starting to go back up to the upside. Intel's starting to go. NVIDIA's going. We're 4 longs, man. Apple, boom, right? We take that one. Huge trade there. Intel could be bigger, but we'll take it right now. It'll be a nice positive stock for us. NVIDIA is big, so that's still trying to go back up there to the upside. So that's the 3rd long. And then the 4th long, and we'll go 4 for 4 today here for you, is going to be Palantir. So a nice little smooth day on the floor. Let's see if we can keep on putting up some numbers for you. Intel, again, another out. I'm going to take another piece here at 83. I'll just punch that out there, get the half print, and let's just start to maybe get a little bit out as we approach that 10 o'clock marker. But Intel, nice move. We're still hella long, and Palantir continues to work. We're getting lighter and lighter in Palantir, man. So hopefully we'll be able to do something with this. But right now, Palantir down to about 10% left.
Yeah, into VWAP also, that's what Intel's at. And I think as long, I took one more fill in front of VWAP, and then I'm going to wait for 25s on that bad boy. It's trying to, like, it's making a nice mean revert. Like, that's what we're trying to look for here on Intel. Just didn't quite get the reversion. Now that it's at VWAP, I'll look for a pullback right into 24.50, and we'll reload it if we get the opportunity. Still think there's a good chance. I know that SNTI, okay, there's a bunch of people that are involved in SNTI, 330-something%. Obviously, it's gonzo here. Hit the like and subscribe, and this goes to 400%. If you like the show, then like the show. And if you want to ask about a symbol, you got to be in the chat to do it, and you got to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So hit that subscribe. Ask us anything you want. Yeah. When things start to slow down, we can always get into other topics, but I wanted to make sure we looked at this. It hasn't really gone into a halt yet. I think it is a big-time halt candidate, especially if it fails to break out at the $10 level. I don't know if you'll get VWAP, but that prior high around 750 will at least be the spot I would look for some kind of a dip buy there on this SNTI. Looks like the biggest runner. Well, small cap runner, I should say. That looks like the biggest small cap runner, at least on the board. There's still more selling going on here in front of 238.8 here on Apple. So it's bouncing off VWAP nicely, but it's not making that next breakout as it's trying to go higher. Bitcoin's above 96 now, actually, and starting to go. Yeah. So I feel like some of those crypto names, I got to look back at Square, just make sure that's nowhere. Yes, okay, Block did get to 96. So Block is absolutely on one. It's like up 8%, and it did make the big break at 94. Got all the way to $96. There hasn't been a dip opportunity here on Square. unfortunately. It's just been all to the upside. VWAP's going to now sit at that prior high at 94. So I like this one on the long side. Apple, okay. Intel is now above VWAP and just tagged 25. So all it has to do is get through 25.10. I have offers because 25.60 is a big high, out in front of 30s and out in front of 40s. And if it makes a 25.6, we'll come at that trade. You know, it could happen later on in the day. I think that's its own level. We'll play VWAP, we'll play 24.5. But the market's starting to go to the upside and looking pretty good. Can't really complain here. The NASDAQ almost 1 full percent, 2 set upside. There's Apple finally getting to that 239 level.
Let's go.
That's what we wanted to see. Now it's breaking that 239. Oh. I think the high of the day is next. I'm out in front of 240 and then looking for a 240 break and more VWAP holds.
Oh, man. Welcome, everybody. I need more coffee. This has been quite a day, man. 4 for 4 to come back. And I was saying to Marissa, it's like I haven't been trading in couple of days, and it felt like an eternity, but we come back. Muscle memory, man. Muscle memory. It's like do the work, do the research, come in, put on the winning trades, go swimming, come back, listen to the midday show, see the 2 most handsome hosts in Trader TV Live history, both Sharif and Joe. Join them on the midday. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to continue with a high quality show the rest of today. And then we'll be back tomorrow and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And no rest for the wicked now until Christmas. That is the next market holiday. So I hope everyone had an absolutely fantastic Thanksgiving and you're able to spend it all with your family. All right, we went out and got our Christmas tree. That was a lot of fun. We cut that bad boy down. That was hilarious. We didn't get a huge one, but my daughter was bench pressing it, so that was pretty cool to see that. Okay,
that work any way you can, man.
Yeah, man,
Rocky workouts right
that's
there.
That's exactly what it's all about. Yeah, exactly. Pushing those tires over. All right, so right now, actually, we were doing that yesterday. Oh, actually, I put on my own Instagram. We were out yesterday at workouts.
Did you get your winters?
Yeah, we did it. We did the winter tires. I did get them. I'm going to put them on, but we were at winter baseball yesterday. So, man, it never stops. Tonight we got hockey again. She scored her team, my daughter's team there. They tied 3-3 and 2 goals for the newly minted starting center on her team. Shout out to my daughter, who is hopefully going to cost me less for her university education. All right, Palantir trying to come back in through 67 right now. I really like this spot for us here, but I'm gonna take out another piece on Intel again on Palantir. Sorry, I say I like the spot, but we just dripped down, so I like the bounce back into 67 just to take a little bit more out. We're trying to be like as careful and sort of frugal, maybe is the word I'm looking for, as we do not have many of these shares left. I mean, look at that example on Intel. We just talked about getting it out at 25 bucks, right? So it's like, let's just understand the net that you have, understand the risk that's on there. It's still not even 10 o'clock yet. The time is, in my opinion, it's been a pretty slow morning. I felt like it was later than where it was right now, but we still have manufacturing PMI coming out. We have a few different things on the lookout right now for what's to come right here. It's on our watch list. You guys can go get that as well. Oh yeah, we went out for brunch there. I told you guys, remember you guys asked Western? So there it is. There's a toasted Western. That was on Thanksgiving right there with the lovely wife. ISM manufacturing and construction spending coming out there. Go check Twitter for all the economic releases, and we'll have them right here with Adara momentarily in just about 3 minutes. When all of those come through, market coming back in just a little bit. Some of these tech names giving something back. Good thing we're trying to clap out of a lot of these stocks. Right now, Apple 239, probably a good spot as well.
Yeah, I took some in front of that 39 as you mentioned it on Apple. We could get another pull in the VWAP if the market wants to grant us that. But speaking of VWAP, Intel got the VWAP, broke it, took 25 and is pulling back. SMCI finally broke trend. There was a close above, but it gets to VWAP and it also turns around. So again, it pops like 50 pennies or so and then right back in. If we lose that prior high, this closing bar is 36 1/4. I'm going to jump out of this. They've been sort of selling that news. You want to be able to take what you can get. As far as Intel goes, there's that VWAP hold, I guess, of VWAP for the shorts, I would suppose, at 25. I just want to see a lower high, or higher low, sorry. As long as it can hold a nice higher low, do another rounded bottom, I don't mind getting back into this. It's going to be a big sell-off because of the way it gapped up like SMCI, but it's held on to the prior resistance here at 24.30 as well. So I'm looking over and I know a lot of people looking at crypto names. MSTR is losing the bid again, so down at like $380. I look over at Mara. If there's a missed trade for me, it was probably looking for the pop and fade on Mara. When the markets are strong and you want to look short something, usually I want to short a rip. This one got to VWAP and failed again. So this is still looking relatively weak here on Mara. I do like it if it goes 10% down for an SSR bounce, but generally I wanted to look short on this name. I guess it could pop back in, maybe give a 26.5 and look for a short on a lower high here. But that's about it. We're going to hang on to Apple, look for that reload at 24.5 on Intel, and then just to recap on SMCI. It did break trend, but now it needs to hold 36.25. No adding unless it starts putting in some more higher lows, holding VWAP. They got the all clear, but that doesn't necessarily mean this has to give up pull that entire gap, right? I mean, SMCI, ultimately, it's already done a massive move off of the lows, just to remind everybody. Like, this is a double up since those bottoms. So the idea that it has to go all the way back into 50 in one day, it's already doubled off the low. So a good portion of the work's been done.
All right, I'm trying to cancel all my Intels because I'm trying to rethink about this one. 240, 240s is sort of where we've come into for Intel. I'm going to put a bid if it breaks too much lower than anything in and around there on Intel. 2460 right there. I'll try to buy this, but then if we break lower, we're out. Good bunch of outs here. I keep saying it, but we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. I mean, it's roughly in and around there. Intel's given some back. Apple, just let's go, man. We talked about that. What's out to Chappelle Roan? We had a nice move here, right here, as Apple is just absolutely steaming right now to the upside. Let's take another out right now on Apple. Man, we're buzzing here. Nice out there at 40s. Starting to go back up. What's up, Adara?
Time to take a look here at these economic numbers. We got a higher than expected global manufacturing PMI print coming back here at 9:30 a.m. Now at 10 a.m. we're getting a stronger than expected ISM print. So that's 50.4 for the ISM manufacturing PMI for November versus consensus of 47.5 and forecast of 47.2. ISM manufacturing employment coming in here at 48.1. Construction spending on a month-over-month basis for October also going to be stronger than expected, 0.4% versus previous of 0.1%, forecast of 0.2%. We have ISM manufacturing new orders also stronger than expected here, 50.4 versus forecast of 47.6. ISM manufacturing prices, though, is actually going to be lower than the previous and expected prints. We got 50.3 versus consensus of 55.2, forecast of 54.9. So just to go over the key numbers here, we had ISM manufacturing PMI above estimates, as was construction spending on a month-over-month basis for October. The Nasdaq continues to push at the upside, up about almost 1% as of right now to kick off the month of December. We'll have to see if we get that Santa Claus rally and that December strength building off of a really strong month of November for the market off of the election. Lots of strength in big tech names, specifically Amazon, Meta, Tesla, all on watch. Then we have Intel here, INTC. Right after 8:30 a.m., we get the announcement here from the company that CEO Pat Gelsinger has retired as of December 1st. They've basically named some people from inside the company, including CFO David Zinsner, to serve as interim co-CEOs until they find a replacement. SMCI also getting some pre-market news, up about 13%, basically saying they completed their internal review here by their independent committee and found no wrongdoing despite the resignation of Ernst & Young. So interesting look here for SMCI. Lots of stocks on the move today, guys.
Lots of stocks on the move. Crypto also on the move as well. So if you're looking at these markets, wondering where the strength is going to be, it's certainly more Nasdaq at 1% versus the ES, which is oddly enough flat. I'm going to quickly show you Apple. Since the bounce off of VWAP, it broke trend up here, double top. I said I want out in front of 240. 240 is going to be its own trade. I'm looking for a dip back into VWAP, and then we can try to reload this one off of VWAP. Or, hey, if it breaks out 240, it breaks out 240. But I did want to jump on over looking at all those crypto names, and we'll go there in a quick second because SNTI is halted. 500% now on SNTI. The halt is at 1280. The tap is at 1280. So this one just continues to go absolutely you-know-what to the upside. But with that last bounce in Bitcoin and that last little bounce, I saw some in MSTR as well. Mara again tries to get into VWAP. There's a host of sellers at the 26 or just above the $26 level that seem to be hanging on to this one. I guess I got to short the next available pop. It's got a nice trend forming here. So a couple of lower highs put in. Time to start playing off a trend. I don't mind the reversal if it gets down 10%. I'll look for a mean revert. But shorting the pops on this one seems like a must. That 26 level looks like the place to go here on Mara. Not many things are this weak as far as I'm concerned here. I mean, this is just about this, and I don't know. It's like the weakest stock I can find.
All right. Yeah. Well, we're still. I mean, how's it going? I like that sweater. What sweater is that? I need one of those sunshine sweaters. Okay, so Intel, nice move back into the upside. I mean, look what we did on Apple right here. Honestly, man, it's a hot dog kind of a day there for Apple. We just got 239.40s right there on AAPL as it just keeps on getting better and better, man. This has been a pretty good stock there. And again, we talked about it off of here. All these brand new highs, man, all-time highs being hit today. Apple, Palantir, NVIDIA going to be the next one at some point, I would imagine, but not right now, as there goes Apple. So we're at the high spot all day, man. 70 cents in the month. This is what happens. You got to stay with your trades. We talk about that all the time here on the show. Stay with your trades. There goes Apple, nice move. There goes Intel, nice move higher, right? I mean, this is the one that's fading for us. NVIDIA as well. Let's check out SMCI, and then we'll look at some other names for you. I mean, I'm getting lighter and lighter in all of these positions right now, so, you know, pretty comfortable with what we've been looking at, and pretty comfortable trading. Obviously, that's what we do here. It's my job. But so far, so good here with the names that we've been looking at today. Now, does that mean it's going to continue higher? I mean, we got to find some more opportunities. SMCI right now, 36.50, and trying to go even higher right now, I feel like anyways. SMCI took down VWAP, took down 37.50, 36. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it wants to hold. So far, so good here for anybody trading SMCI. Looking like it's going to be a decent runner for you one more time. And yeah, I'm just saying, like, you know, if you guys want names that are moving around, I feel like we're trading the right ones here again today for you. Apple, Tesla. I mean, even just looking at what Tesla's doing. I want to look at Roblox as well. Another banger trade. Roblox is up near $50. Was $51 earlier today. Tesla, big one as well.
I got a Roblox question later.
Yeah, Roblox right there, 51.60. And so I played more Dress to Impress. Hey, I'm actually really good at that game, Dress to Impress. I won a couple times. You heard of that game, Ramin? Dress to Impress? On Roblox? Okay, yeah, you're lame. But yeah, that was a really fun.
Actually, I got to ask the viewers something about, because maybe if anybody knows good workarounds for being able to play Roblox on a Nintendo Switch, that's what my daughter's interested in. I know there's like ways to do it, but if someone
there? I don't know.
Apparently there are ways that you can get it done. So that's what I'm looking for, because my daughter's obsessed with Roblox. Well, she loves Minecraft still, but she's obsessed with Roblox is like the next thing. I'm like, if we can pull it off on the Switch, ideally that'd be the way to go, because she doesn't have a PC, and we just got a new tablet that we're easing her into. But a couple of things in here. One, Intel's back at 24.5. I still haven't gotten that reload, but SMCI is now back above VWAP. If this loses again, like this trend, so the new trend that it's put in, if it loses that, I jump out. If it holds it, I want to look for some kind of a consolidation, add to it, see if it can break higher. Good look for SMCI, but it almost had to wipe it out and go into 35 before doing anything else. First trade of the day for myself on Mara. We said I'm going to look for, I lost that trend line because I didn't hit save. We look to short it off of that previous trend line. So lower highs all the way through. If it breaks this top at 26.20, I'm out. This isn't about VWAP. This is about the trend holding on Mara. So this has been the trend to the downside, down 5%. We shorted back into it. If it breaks a prior high, then we want to jump out. So if it gets back to these lows, we'll scalp some out here in front of 25.75. But first one of the day. Crypto is moving around. Sorry, Bitcoin is moving around. The crypto name's moving around. This one could be a mean revert, but my idea was to be short this name. I didn't really think we'd get that kind of a push that early to said downside. SMCI pulling back in here. Apple is still trending towards the top. It didn't actually give you the dip into VWAP, but 240. I don't know how much size is going to be in the offer, but I don't think size matters in this particular case, because Apple doing tons of volume. It'll chew right through any 240 breakout. But I want to buy the next available dip as long as it holds on to trend. Apple looking good. I haven't checked out Meta. It was good when Apple was at VWAP and I was wondering what was at the highs, it was Alphabet. It was Alphabet that never pulled back into VWAP, up 1.5 points, and has been probably the strongest trender out of the Mag 7 to set upside. So this is worth keeping an eye on here. Is ES not getting off the schneid, but this is one of the names pulling the NASDAQ up.
Yeah, I really, again, Apple was one of those names that we've just been looking at the way it's been trading, and by the way, right now. We've just been looking at the way it's been trading the last couple of days, and like we've been liking what Apple's been doing. I mean, there's the look there on the daily chart, just like basically 4 straight up days there. So yeah, I mean, pretty, as they say, easy peasy on that kind of a trade there for Apple on the long today. I mean, it was one of the #1 names that we had written down there. It's the problem is it started to go early, and you have to, you have to respect sort of those levels there for Apple. And yeah, again, pretty clean move there today for Apple. It did bounce off VWAP, which would have been a good one. What about DraftKings? I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you do hit the like, the subscribe. As I already mentioned, man, a much better show is coming in just under an hour as we have our midday show with Joseph and Sharif. That should be a heck of a lot of fun. As they'll look at some more sort of some small cap names, maybe moving around, some gapping names, things like that. It looks like Uber bought at 68 or whatever I bought some at. Was a decent opportunity there. So we're able to get out of some, not out, into some more Uber at those levels. Now we'll just wait to see what it wants to do as it's now above 73. 72, sorry. I've liked Uber on this way. We bought some 80s, we bought some 72s, and then we bought some 68s when we dipped down there. I don't like to absolutely average it into all these plays, but this is going to be another name that I like Uber for the long term. I really like all the different businesses that they're involved with. I mean, it's the same reason service businesses, have been absolutely fantastic. You've seen the likes of Apple starting to go back up to the upside based on what, their services. And again, it's such a consumption-based economy is the United States that people are taking Ubers left, right, and center all over the place. And I really like that name. And then the other name, again, that's been working for us has been XBI. This name, for some reason, got into like $92 or something like that. We're able to, even lower than that. We're able to buy some down there. So again, just trying to stick the course and do what we're saying that we're doing, right? And that is like buying these names on dips and then telling you about them. So I really, I like some of those most recent buys. I've bought, also recently I bought some Berkshire. That was about a month ago or so. Other than that, not a whole heck of a lot. But yeah, Roblox was one of those positions, again, that really worked out for us over the summer months because I bought this name as a swing trade down here. Not even as a swing trade, but down into here before the summer had started, knowing exactly what Neil said, that everyone's obsessed with Roblox. So there it goes, man, $30, $31, all the way to 51, 52. Sometimes you just need to know what you know, and we knew that about Roblox. So there it goes, huge upside move. Roblox is now free forever for my kids, unless they get a hold of the credit card, which they won't, and then buy some more. But I like that. We spend that 30, or I think my son doesn't do it, my daughter, about $15 a month there on Robux, and there it goes. Yeah, it doesn't get you that much. And all I'm doing is paying for her to buy Avatar's outfits. So it's like, not only do I buy her real clothes, but also now buying fake clothes as well. All right, so there it goes, man. Nice move to the upside right there. 239.70, bang there for Apple. That was $1. Palantir's come all the way back, and we are completely fine with that. You see, no stress at all about Palantir because I'm not sure I even really like the reload for this name. I don't have any bids coming through, and I'm going to actually start to attend to some sells right now. If we break below the 66.50, let's get out of here. We don't need to be right on this name. We've already been right. We don't need to give it all back. One reload, two reloads will not be a third, and maybe getting some more out here at, let's just get something out at 93 if we can, and put another offer at 98, and just get it out as it starts to float in a little bit. There it is. So we'll get a 93 there on Palantir, and just wait to see where we can go on this. NVIDIA's been disappointing. It has a 140 magnet. So until something happens with that, AMD's not doing too much. I'm going to ask Randy for another coffee, by the way.
I was muted for a little cough there. My bad. But what the heck? Who did? Heyo, there we go. Sorry. AMD also to the top side. I was going to say up 3%. It's a little bit stronger. You've seen the NASDAQ looking pretty good, but I got to get on over at SMCI. It broke trend. I didn't jump out because it's over VWAP. It was kind of simultaneously trying to hold on to the recent uptrend. It's not much of one. It just started here at about 9:45. But if we lose this consolidation under VWAP, I'm just going to get out. We didn't actually get in here off of 36. We got 36.5. So we'll just bag it. If it's a trend reversal, I don't mind it retesting 35 and trying another way. And it's that time of day where you want to take those profits. But I'll give it a chance to hold VWAP and break back to the upside here. Mara did pull back in. It got to not VWAP, but like that 26 to 26.20, which has been the local high. Did a bit of a reversal candle here above 26. Was able to get some more just at the 26 level. So my price is exactly 26. We'll look to get scalps into this higher low and then see how far, if it wants to get all the way to the low of the day, it's probably going to need an assist from Bitcoin, which, by the way, and why I want to scalp out, if you're looking at Bitcoin here, it's making a nice press off of VWAP, hence why you want to take profit. And again, the reason I'm looking short on Mara, look at the strength over in Bitcoin and crypto, it just wasn't showing it. But if it breaks 26.20, I got to acknowledge and get out of that name. We are now going to ADR at the desk. See, it was just over.
The name here in the crypto space to keep an eye on, it's XRP. This is the XRP USD chart.
Man, XRP.
What a daily chart here for XRP. This is its 6th straight day to the upside. According to Binance data, we're up about 42% of the day, as XRP has now become the 3rd top name here in terms of market cap for crypto, below BTC and ETH. So lots of strength here in Ripple. Keep an eye on that, guys.
There, I sold this name. Wow, up 91% in a week for XRP. And again, thanks to Dara for bringing that to our attention. We, of course, talked about that, earlier this morning, and just noticing like what's been going on with a lot of these crypto names there. Solana's not doing anything. It is XRP right now, up 40%, up 92% on the week. Man, wow, what a move there. And I sold most of mine at $1.50. That is looking very, very silly. Yeah, we talked about trying to buy dips on IBIT, and I guess we didn't do a very good job of that one, as there it goes right back in. My nose is all chapped. 54.60 or so coming into play right there. We're going to have to figure out, is that going to be a buy one more time? I think so. I really like 200 period dip buys opportunities if they do exist. And right now it's existing for us. So we're going to put a bid down in and around here, 54.60 or so for my friend and hopefully your friend as well. Crypto, IBIT. That's actually really strange. Like we had done that stat before as we talked about like percentage of traders that actually own crypto. And I guess it was Sharif there that mentioned 50 million. So I guess there's a 400 and change million, I guess, there in the United States. So, I mean, it looks like it's a worse percentage than what we had on the show, as we were in and around 50-50 or a little bit underneath 50% there for crypto. So it's quite clear that, in my opinion anyways, crypto well under-owned. And yeah, much more room here to go to the upside if you are.
That means our viewers are.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I thought our viewers were way higher as a percentage in that, and we talked about that on the show
Randy.
as well. We were talking about Bitcoin, Randy, as that just keeps on mooning. It looks like about 20% of Americans own crypto, according to Coinbase.
Well, what's interesting is it should be like,
Go Palantir.
I think you care more about like Americans in, like, call it like the 15 to, I don't know, over demographic, right? Like that's a number that I'm kind of curious about. What it is as a percentage.
Wow,
because our viewers, I actually thought our viewers were 50%. I thought was good, because I thought it was more like 20 to 25%.
Yeah, and I thought it would be 75%.
I'm very happy to see that. I think congratulations to everybody. But Mara, as Bitcoin continues to go, he said if Mara, we're going to scalp some out, but if Mara breaks contain, we're going to jump out of it. So we did get that short on trend. I could draw the trend line, but you can now see it's broken with a close. I mean, as long as this candle closes above $26, it's going to have broken trend. I'll look for a curl and VWAP long. I guess it's not going to give an SSR bounce because it's not going to go down 10%. So is what it is. SMCI did dip underneath, and it's broken a little bit of trend. It did dip under 37. Going to get rid of that trend line, start looking at VWAP in here. Really only looking long SMCI today, and it hasn't been super strong. The only long we got that was good was after a big sort of rinse out. So I want to look for that kind of an entry again. Like, have it run some stops and then try to get some higher lows. So I'm looking for pullbacks, some big pullbacks to try to get into SMCI one more time. And Atanis saying, Neil, look at Affirm. Affirm all the way back to 70. Affirm has filled the gap. So Affirm fills the gap right back into 70. This could be a nice one. Oh, good catch. This is a nice mean revert potential trade here on Affirm. If it can. And again, it's got to do a little bit more work in here. Yeah, I like this one. That 70 level is key. I should have probably even wrote that one down on the note along with Amazon. Then SMCI and Intel happened, and what are you going to do? They were doing more volume off the open.
Apple still going. We did tweet this out earlier about Apple and what's been going on exactly in that. Check out this thing that I tweeted out as well. Apple right now, nice little dollar. Wow, dollar plus now for AAPL. The rise of AI has been real, and it's been affecting obviously many companies here as you go. This is big tech since ChatGPT's launch. And sort of what's been going on. Obviously, Alphabet. I mean, a lot of these companies just continue to climb higher and higher and higher here, riding sort of the wave. So it doesn't really matter if you're ChatGPT or what exactly you're involved with. It seems like right now, AI just continues to obviously lead up. I mean, Amazon, Alphabet, Apple, as we continue to go higher. So I got to give a shout out here to Brew Markets, 8.4 trillion in value since the release of ChatGPT. So we could talk about, the market cap of all of crypto is 3.5 trillion, right? We've moved up in the mega cap, in those names, their mega cap names, over $8.5 trillion since we have released ChatGPT. So really that just gives you sort of the idea of how much money is actually in the stock market as opposed to crypto, which means, in my opinion, a lot of room to run there in crypto verse. So, all right, what's up, Adara?
IWM actually down on the day here. We had a little bit of a rounded bottom, maybe poised for a bit of a breakout during that half-day session on Friday in pre-market. Then we open and we fall to the downside on that Russell 2000. However, we bounce nicely at 240. As of right now, we're around that 241.25 area. So let's see if we're able to break above this previous support at 241.60, about 30 pennies away right now. Let's take a look here at some of these small cap movers, including SNTI. SNTI has a float of just under 3 million shares, around 2.9 million share float. They announced this morning a $37.6 million private equity financing placement here that's oversubscribed. They also did announce here positive results for one of their trials for myeloid leukemia treatment. Then we have VUZI, Vuzic. This company, if this sounds familiar to you, this one's been moving a little bit over the past week or so. The UZI near day's highs here near that $3 level, up about 28%. They got a 17.5% short float, and they announced that apparently the OSHA, so the U.S. Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, has been deploying some of the company's smart glasses. Last but not least, PPBT. This is Purple Biotech. This one also breaking out here into new day's highs. Those actually looks like it's halted right now. Now it's some positive data for its pancreatic cancer treatment. So lots of small cap movers on watch, guys.
There's too many. Oh, there goes SMCI now flying. Good hold off VWAP. I just saw a big, decent size volume come through when it broke 37.50. I want to get back in off VWAP here. It's continuing to put in some higher lows. Intel's also caught a bit. It was AMD that I wanted to get to next. I feel like this is now on a new trend, trying to pull back into VWAP. Oddly enough, I mean, AMD, it's not NVIDIA, but AMD is now going to challenge that channel that we've been talking about for quite some time. We mentioned in the video over the weekend. It's above the 140, so you're getting a local break. There was never any chance to buy off the bottom of this channel. Those are dark pool wicks. It never went to 130. That just didn't happen, guys. So, that's just bad prints. I think you want to play trend in here. It's a strong one. I thought this is a good swing opportunity, certainly, off of that channel bottom. Looks like he just wants to break out the top. 2.5 points. It's another strong chip name here today as the market continues to fly around. I did get a little bit of intel just now. It just doesn't seem incredibly strong, but it did hold the higher low. Did this little bit of an attempt at a rejection candle without breaking lower, so I jumped back in here. We'll see if we can get into VWAP now, again, on Intel. Good volume, like to see a little bit more, but it's SMCI that I want to see hold VWAP and be patient with. Up 15% today and is going to do well over 100 million shares worth of volume. I don't think the last is said for SMCI. I think it has a decent chance to get back into those highs. There's still going to be some shorts, I think, that has some covering to do on SMCI.
Oh boy, is all I can say right now. Oh boy, props it up. Good trades over there, Neil. But wow, we are now flying right there. We just loaded up on NVIDIA. down there. NVIDIA dropped to VWAP, and you guys know, like, if that's going to happen, then your boy is all over that one. So there goes NVIDIA right now. Dropped smoothly into VWAP, and we like it. We like it a lot as we get some more out. I mean, I don't know if we want to trust this market or not, but boy, oh boy, is NVIDIA doing nicely here to the downside. So let's wait to see. Hey, man, I mean, who knows? Bounced off to that downside. We buy that dip into VWAP, and I'm going to take another piece out here at 49 and just wait to see where we go from here, because right now, again, like it, taking some more out here on the high side, as we're doing quite well here on the day as these markets continue to sort of bounce off. I mean, we've been lucky that we've been holding bids all day, right? Like really just giving us that opportunity to continue to do what we've been doing. And I mean, that opportunity exists because the bids have held, right? So like Palantir could have easily cracked in, does not, right? We take huge advantage of that one as that's doing what it's doing there. NVIDIA there gave us that gift. I'm gonna get in another piece actually, man, on this move. Whoopsies, no, cancel, too many shares. Okay, good, whoa. All right, almost got out of too many there on the upside. We wanna try to hold on to something to see if we can get this going even a little bit more than where it is right now. But again, a nice little reload there. Intel, good trade. I mean, we're taking some more out on Intel as we'll fire off the hot dog cannon for INTC as well, as that name's starting to bump around a little bit here. So yeah, good outs, good trades today. Could always have gotten more aggressive here, especially on Intel, especially on an Apple trade. But again, being able to have no blemishes today, I think has been pretty good. So pretty thankful to have been able to do that. And let's just keep on going here. Glad to be back. We're at the highest spot again. And my last trade is just that reload of NVIDIA, which is now screaming. This might go to PL1 here. Just got to get above that 60 mark and see what happens with INTC. But Apple up, and Intel up, NVIDIA up, Palantir up, 4 for 4 on Big Dog.
Market up. It's just the ES that's lagging a little bit here. Certainly, come on, chart load. All right, if you're not going to load, we'll just do it this way. So here comes Intel and VWAP has been a bit of a problem. So once again, if you're reloading in here off of these higher lows, or at least that's what I'm doing. I want to be getting some out into VWAP, into 25. Hold on to some just in case it wants to break it out. But as it creeps back into VWAP, just want to respect the fact that since the open, this has been resistance up here on Intel. So it tries to go, wow, the SMCI just literally in the second that we were doing that, I can probably cancel VWAP bids on SMCI. It just broke away from the 38 level. I don't need that trend line anymore. You're now making a new trend back into the highs on SMCI. So just going to get buy dips. Next available dip, if it pulls back in, instead of covering the long under VWAP, I want to be getting into a new one off of that VWAP. For sure. Top VoIP saying DJT's making a move. I'm not really making a move on that. The play that I'm looking for next, it should be SMCI, or it could be a crowded one, but Apple's about to break $240. So 240, I mean, we'll see if it makes a break now, because I think famously there's been like several times where I'm like, yeah, we're going to break the level, and then we don't actually break it out.
Let's get some.
So we'll see if it does. It's not a lot of shares on the offer here. I think it's like, I saw about 500,000, which is not a lot. It's done 10 million in volume. Apple's exactly the kind of name that usually does a bit of a dirty move. So if I get a long breaking out, I want to scalp a good portion of it immediately and then look for that initial dip buy. The opening range high was 239.5. I think that gives you a good early look for a dip, but I don't mind all the way back into 239. So if the breakout goes up, gives a bit of a scalp trade, and then pulls back in, I don't mind jumping right out and then looking for an initial dip buy at the $0.50 there on Apple. So it looks like it's going to make this break, I mean, probably any second now. 99 was just on the offer, and I feel like Apple's going to do it. So that should be the next trade. Intel, I have one more offer in front of VWAP, and then we'll just hold at that particular point. And SMCI doesn't seem to want to pull back yet. But once it does, that's the next play for me on SMCI. First available dip, buy a higher low.
All right. Just trying to get our order set up here because we did take that out on Apple. So props it up. Good talk there, Neil. Yeah, we have it, man. We took some out at 238 right there. So good trade so far there for us on Apple. And I mean, we've been holding this since this has been the longest held trade here. I mean, all day. We took this right off the open. That's the first candle higher. We had written down there 238 break. Obviously, that would have been pretty sweet to have had that. This is on here. We only crossed up 10 cents, but it happened immediately, and we were unable to get it. So there it comes right there, 240. Getting out of this one. We only have like 5% left. So we'll wait to see if there's anything happening on that. NVIDIA more and more outs. If this breaks 139, we are gone on NVIDIA. We do not want to be involved in that name, especially if the move continues to go lower. Let's check out what SMR is doing. This has been another name that we had on watch earlier on today, but as you can see, SMR going the other way. And I said this might be a name that we could eventually take some profits on. I think we'll do that at some point, but not yet. Right now, SMR 3150 looking to continue its move there, 3150 being the high. If we can get back up there, that'd be a decent short. 29 for the long. Looks like we held off 2950 there for a daily trade for SMCI. So it could be, for SMR. Could be a decent spot right there if we were looking for anything. Try to buy in and around 29. We do have that bottom there of 29.50. So just another name. Oh, I say 240, my guy. We're long at 238.60 right now on Apple. Sharif just sits back down and is really happy, obviously, with this position as it continues to go higher. And there goes 240 right now. It's probably going to be a pretty smooth break, man. And here we go. Watch out to see what happens with Apple trying to break through that 230 area. So we're not huge, man. We're 30 cents in the money on Intel. We're only 12 cents in the money on NVIDIA. We're in the money on Apple, obviously $1.40. But right there, here it goes. Bye-bye. There goes 240 right now. It does break to the high side. I see you got 03s. So let's see what winds up happening now with Apple.
Instant fail underneath is what happened. Like it got to, I see 12s as the high of the day, but I can tell you that it immediately tested right back underneath and made a local bottom at about 92. So Apple's done this before. If it loses this prior high, it's about 90. I'm going to jump out and look for that 50 or look for that 39 level. So it's making another attempt. I should have at least gotten on the quarters and see if we can get something out in front of those quarters, which I just realized I hadn't hit offer enter on that scalp trade. So we're going to scalp some out in front of that quarter, see if it gives you the $0.50 as well. As Apple, it's been a strong one today. I mean, obviously, I know we came in and we were talking about like Amazon and Black Friday and all that good stuff and Cyber Monday, but it was Apple that was making the all-time high break and not Amazon. So I feel like you could have traded a lot of Mag 7 names to the upside today, but it was Apple that was going in new territory. So it's bounced off VWAP. It's now going to break off the even dollar level and continuing to fly. So Apple is the apple of our eyes here today. I do believe, it's 10:30. Was that a call for Adara? I think we are ready for crypto.
We're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, of course, but we're going to start with Ripple, which basically has hit its 2024 high. It's also worth noting it now has a market cap, according to TradingView, from what I'm seeing, of just under $155 billion. It's now in the top 3 of crypto names here, below Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's talk about some of the factors motivating Ripple's rise to the upside. We know, of course, a lot of crypto names, but basically all of crypto benefited from the election. Then we had reports that CEO of XRP and Ripple here, Brad Garlinghouse, apparently met with Donald Trump shortly after the election. So that was a great look for XRP as well. Of course, additionally, SEC Chair Gary Gensler announcing that he's going to be stepping down as of the new administration. Also a good look for Ripple, which has had some SEC struggles. So great look for XRP. What about Bitcoin? On this daily chart, we see a bit of a bottoming tail candle forming. We top and churned around a lot during that Thanksgiving weekend. Then today we got as low as 94.7 before pushing back up here. As of right now, around 96.7, so just below the 97,000 level. Let's see if we're able to break above and reach that as of yet unseen $100,000 level for BTC. That'd be quite the day. Ethereum and Bitcoin both slightly down in the day. XRP, of course, up about 42%, just under that $3 level. Cardano having a great day as well, up about 13%. Avalanche up 11.5%. Some other weak names include Shiba Inu, which is down about 9%. And then we do have Solana about 5% to the downside as well.
Yeah, so Bitcoin, we've seen 100,000. We just haven't broken 100,000. That's what hasn't happened just yet. But, we're going to get there. It's just a matter of everyone's all excited for that 100,000. And sometimes it turns into like a theoretical wall. There's a lot of leverage in Bitcoin, obviously, and in crypto in a general sense. So, I think we're going to get there. You just have to play a little patience. As far as I'm concerned, technically you did get there. You go to 99.5, and on some were saying 99.7, 99.8, so you got very, very close. I consider it a win regardless. So Apple makes that 240 break. There was just some selling. Tried to get to the 3/4 mark, and there was some selling in the 60s to 70s. I ended up taking that out. Got another offer at that 75, and then one more in front of 240. Then we'll look for the hold. SMCI is now completely, there hasn't been a red candle. It holds VWAP. and it's continuing to go higher. I think it might be setting up a bit of a 40 breakout, on SMCI. It's filling in a decent part of the gap, but when you pull up this 15-minute chart, go back to last week's highs, 39.25, it could easily give you a consolidation and then break away. Sometimes you look at a stock up 20%, you're like, it's overbought. Well, remember SMCI lost its entire year at one point. So yeah, it's a double up from a couple of weeks ago, but certainly this has a lot more room it can go. I still want to play the next available dip. There just hasn't been a single red candle since that VWAP hold on SMCI. So Apple continuing its trend up. I got my offers in here. If we lose 240, I think you're just waiting for 39.5 or 39 to get back in on trend, as this has been a great long here in Apple, up 1.3%. And don't sleep on the fact that the ES is even waking up here. I mean, the ES starting to join the party that the Nasdaq has been leading all morning.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that great long talk there on Apple. I mean, this has been the greatest, I think. I mean, NVIDIA just lost, so we'll take. Well, didn't lose. We're up on NVIDIA, but it just lost. We got bought back in there at 39. You know what? Now that I just see that we bought back in, we might as well scalp it out for 15 cents if we can get something here. All right, whatever. Spin it. At the end of the day, though, guys, it is all about Apple. Apple will be P&L number one by far. I bought 240s as well on that break higher. We're initially long off sticking out here 238. So nice little move higher there for AAPL as it just continues to climb, man. Great trading there today. NVIDIA starting to go back upside as well right now. So monster trading all over the place, right? So that's why
Intel's back at 25 too.
Yeah, Intel, okay. Intel again, bang. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm not even really noticing this because we're so much bigger in everything else. But yeah, we could take some out here on Intel. Nice move to the upside there. Good thing we do have that as well, Intel right off the jump. I mean, we got that Pat Gelsinger news, and that was the best news ever, and I punched long immediately. Didn't even realize that we were already up $1, then put a bid halfway back in and was able to capture that. So yeah, man, Palantir. So again, this is the name that we talked about dripping down. You know, you're going to be like, oh man, we're holding on to this. We have like maybe, I mean, I can tell you the math exactly, less than 5% left on Palantir as we come into the 66 level. So I thought there was going to be an opportunity to trade this name, right? Now you're here. We've already done it. This is going to be my P&L number one right now is still Palantir, despite even holding on to this. We're going to try it one more time off 66, just a psychological level, but we don't need to do this with very many shares. So let's go to 66.10, see if it wants to hold it. Then we'll put our stop at 65.95 or so. And if we break below that, then we will get out. So right now, we'll take one more shot down here at Palantir in and around that 66 area. If it comes through, great, but we're going to have to make sure that it does come through because otherwise I am not going to be taking that one. That is PLTR. And then here comes NVIDIA again. Good outs there at VWAP, right above the 20s. This is how you stay green. Trying to make sure that you take a little bit out as it starts to rip up and down there. So NVIDIA, not great, man. NVIDIA has not, I'll take another O's here. NVIDIA has not been great over the last little while. So we'll have to wait to see. Nice pullback in. I think this is another name that I'm going to go in and buy in the long-term account very, very soon. Maybe even right after
I love
the show.
this.
But there it goes. Intel and NVIDIA both trying to come in. I don't know what SMCI is doing.
SMCI is almost at 40.
Aye.
So like it's just continuing to ramp to the upside. But I just saw here, Tony in the chat, Intel is always a trade, not a viable company unless Musk is the CEO. I don't wonder if it wouldn't be a bigger move if we knew who, they just have an intern CEO. So Gelsinger might be retiring, but you just have an intern situation.
Right.
So there's no clear direction. This isn't some Brian Nichols situation, you know, where you're getting a superstar coming in. And I think that if that was the case, Intel would be up like 8 to 10% today. But without that, I think it's more of a scalp trade in here. It's back above VWAP, but the 25 zone. And shout out to you, Tony. I just thought that was amusing. And I don't disagree. I think if you had, not Musk has no, why would Musk do this? But I think they need to find some new leadership, obviously. And I think that would be the next shoe to drop, and maybe you get a stronger move. 25 has been selling since the open. There is selling at 25 once, twice, thrice, but you've held a higher low. Now you got to hold on to VWAP here with Intel. I got to get over to SMCI. This is, you know, it's now ramping toward that 40 level very quickly here. So there hasn't been any kind of a dip. The first red candle since VWAP was just now pulling back into 39. And that's too high up. That's normally a mean reversion. So I'm not going to play the long up top here. I'd look for something a little deeper. or we'll just try our hand at a 40 break with a tight stop on a 40 break for a super micro, which is looking like an absolute runner. I know there's this other halter, that is it PPBT that a lot of people have been looking at? I don't have eyeballs on it. It has halted a couple times in here on volatility. I think that'll be one that the midday boys will be all over, as it's popped up a couple times here. But here comes 40 on SMCI. Sometimes it is what it is. You got to try to buy high, sell higher. You don't always get those dips.
No, you do not. So NVIDIA, we did drop out of that one. We'll be flat on this name after all today. As we talked about, this was the one that was coming into the levels and the one that's giving it up. So there goes NVIDIA. Downside move there today for NVDA. Okay, we do have our last shot right here. I mean, we've done really good. Like normally when some of these markets and some of these names will retrace back in, we'll look down and be like, what have we done? We've given back everything. We have given back nothing pretty much here at all today. So yeah, man, I mean, just really great prices, really great patience. Trading the right names has really sort of worked out here again today. So there goes Palantir. Hopefully that will continue its pressure upside. Hopefully Apple will as well. All right, SMCI continues to go. I believe that's incoming for that Apple for sure, 241. I mean, there's reasons why it's on the sticky note and why we took it immediately there today. Obviously, we like the stock. Disney up to 117, man. I like the stock as well there. Disney, nice move back upside right now. And again, flat for the day, but look at
I think it would do better. Moana crushed.
Yeah. They already had Wicked was already the biggest movie, I think, released in a very, very long time. Wicked, yeah, my daughter. Yeah, my daughter's seen Wicked. That was pretty good and amazing. I mean, she
I mean, obviously, the reviews have been crazy, but I was just curious.
Yeah. It's apparently really great. So those of you that are watching out for Wicked, definitely go see that.
Oh.
Those of you that have would know that it's a pretty booming movie there as it goes in. All right, what's up, Adara? Was that Adara?
How are there so many shares in the...
We have the Nasdaq sharply outperforming the S&P 500 here, and as usual, you can pretty much see that reflected in the sector board. Lots of strength for the most part in electronic technology and technology services today. Also, consumer durables here, the major Nasdaq component here, Tesla, TSLA, really pushing to the upside while the rest of the sector is a bit weaker. Let's go back to these tech sectors for a minute here. Boeing actually doing well here in electronic technology as well, up about 2.5%. Intel and SMCI also both propelling this sector higher. We had Intel's news this morning that Pat Gelsinger has retired, and the SMCI announcing that apparently no wrongdoing was found through that review of their, reports there. We also have some strength in technology services, all the Meg 7 names in this sector sharply to the upside. Netflix and CRM, by the way, CRM reports after the bell tomorrow are also to the upside. Finance right across the board here. We got a little bit of a mixed sentiment here in health technology. Consumer services to the downside, utilities to the downside, process industries, communication, industrial services sharply weak here. So lots of weakness unless you are one of these major tech sectors, guys.
Yeah, 1.5% down for JP Morgan. I mean, if you're looking over at the ES versus the Nasdaq and wondering why, the energy story and the finance story is going to be a big part of it. Utilities not doing very well. So 40 on SMCI actually had about as many shares, or has, I should say, about as many shares as Apple 240 did. I get it; it's a cheaper stock, but it's still SMCI versus Apple. There's quite a bit that they're going to have to chew. When I say they, is going to have to get chewed through before it makes a break. But it does look like it's going to come in here. I have my finger on the trigger. Like the second I get in, I'm going to throw the stop underneath the prior high, and then we'll see what happens on SMCI on this potential looming breakout. I did get one more fill on Apple in front of 241, and it is making a pullback back into 240. We'll see if that wants to hold on the 240 level, but it's hard to get away from SMCI. I mean, if you're looking at this, if you're taking this break, and when I have finger on the trigger, it might end up pulling back first. Still holding at 39.8. As long as it's above 39.5, I kind of feel like this is the next shoe to drop for me taking this breakout trade. And if it does a really big fail candle, I'll look to see if I can get a dip buy here on SMCI as it continues to go to the upside, 22% and still climbing. But be careful, if you didn't scalp out any of that Apple, it is coming back into the 240.
Let's just keep ringing the cash registers today. It's always nice when you come back from a holiday and able to, continue sort of with what we've been talking about. There goes Palantir, and we talked about what we were trying to do. The risk that was associated with this one. I mean, there it is. It's already 3-1. We talked about we were going to get long at 66.11. We actually put, we put that price rate in there for everybody to look at there. 61.11s, 61.10s. Talked about if it breaks, 66. If it breaks 66, we're out of there. Now, Neil, it is a 5-to-1 risk to reward trade on board right here, and it's not. It's one thing to say, and again, to do lessons and talk about these things, but this isn't in the wild trade. I mean, we talked about this. We still have on more than half of this position as it goes 5-to-1 for us. So again, like not just teaching here, actually doing live on the show. And I want to make sure everyone hits the like and the subscribe as we're putting it up for you right here today, right? So another big day, hopefully for all of you as well. I'm going to start to piece out a little bit here on Apple, get out some 27s if we could do that. We'll take some there on AAPL as it is forcing its way back in a little bit here. Monster day on Apple. Intel's been okay. Nvidia's been completely flat, and Palantir has been, like I mentioned to you, one of the better stocks here today as we look at P&Ls. So Intel, Palantir, Apple, Nvidia is all that I've been really looking at. Let me check out SMR one more time. As it's come in. Yeah, you know what? I mean, Neil mentioned the banks were sort of giving it up here today because the NASDAQ is up 0.89 and ES only up 0.13. So sometimes you want to look and say, hey, are you diversified just in NASDAQ names? Because if so, then you're probably doing okay. But as we look at, some of the other names here, probably like a JP Morgan, 245 is still pretty high up for JP Morgan. But look at this, nice downside push here. As maybe there's a little bit of a rebalancing happening. I mean, Amazon's been pretty hot fire there today as well, up to 212. Wow, this stock has been absolute chaos to the upside there. Right off the open, bang, and trying to hold on. Again, look at the last couple day trends here on Amazon. Nice moves to the upside. So yeah, Apple, Intel, Palantir right now. I'm going to get out another piece of Palantir because look, guys, this ran up. I mean, sure, we not predicted, but we had traded this for this move. Let's just make sure there. We take out 2 more outs out of 10 more percent. Now we only have 35% left of PLTR, but what a great stock that is. That is now your P&L number 1.
Just a bit of it's a small headline. I don't know if it's going to move anything China related, but there was a quick headline. China urging the U.S. to stop aiding and abetting Taiwan independence. Again, I don't know. I don't know if that could be a reason you could see a little bit of a pullback here, but you're back into the 240 on Apple. Previous breakouts, resistance levels, I like to turn into support. That's where it looks like it's curling. I'm out of 90% of the trade at this point, actually just slightly less than that. But I do think you want to look for a curl here. Like Apple gave you VWAP before, it gave you the breakout. It is a steep move to the upside despite only being up 1%. I'd like to see it hold and give a consolidation entry, like something like this, like either a longer consolidation that leads you into a breakout or just a longer consolidation that lets you buy that dip. Intel, we keep talking about it trying to break through that 25 level and nothing has changed. They're still selling at the 25. On Intel, the good news is the pullback has not been steep. It's holding on the VWAP here, so a little bit stronger. Last time it got up here, it immediately reversed right back into $24.50. This time it's holding a nice consolidation. And then SMCI, well, it doesn't really break that 40 level. There was a bunch of shares on the offer. They won temporarily. It's still in the midst of a pullback. Want to look to see if we can buy the dip. Ideally, VWAP would be great if you can get it. But if it just happens to hold here at 39 or at 38 or 38.5, that's what we're looking for. It's now 10.47, so this is a spot where you want to be patient. Don't necessarily catch a falling knife. If it's going to get to VWAP, let it get to VWAP. The stock has a range of $8 on the day, right? So it dropping a couple bucks into VWAP wouldn't take a heck of a lot. Not up at 19%, I do like it, but we just have to be careful as it's starting to pull back. One name which we did not mention, I was going to say something when Randy was here. I don't know necessarily why this happened to Rivian, but remember, Rivian got a bit of a bump recently because they got a bunch of money, that's $6 billion from the government. 12.5. Since then, 12.5 has been a bit of a brick wall for Rivian at the open. I'm just pulling back so you can see. It gets there at the open, it loses. And this has been happening for the last week. Well, it got to $12.48 and another dump job here on Rivian. I don't think it gets to $10 today. But I got eyeballs on this. If it can hold, this prior high here is about 11.25. So it gets up to what I thought could have been a breakaway level at 13. You'd like to see it start consolidating and holding about 11 to 11.25, which the way it's looking today is actually a decent shot. You're down 3% into what's been a strong market. So I think it has a chance to pull back into some of these prior resistance levels, possibly turning into support here on Rivian. Wasn't on the radar, but when it makes a move like that, it's going to jump up there when you notice it's a bit different from pretty much everything else.
Yeah, I mean, what exactly is Tesla? Yeah, 354 there for Tesla as well. Look, guys, only 10 more minutes left. We're 50 cents times 3 right now. So we're in the money about $1.50 on all these trades. We got Palantir, Intel, and Apple all trying to get higher. Tesla falling back in. Right now, S&P futures up. Dow is actually down right now. So the DAI, there it is right here. These are the diamonds. This is going to be the Dow Jones. So you can always look at this one down 0.20 right now. USO as well. If we're going to look at some oil names, gold is down right now, $15 down to 26. USO is down. GLD is down. Bitcoin is not down right now. Bitcoin is up to 97,000 and continues to go higher right now. I think would IBIT still be down? No. So IBIT right now is flat, even though Bitcoin has been ripping all morning. Again, IBIT hasn't been traded since Friday. So you got to sort of make up all of that with IBIT. So nice move now, flat 0.1 for IBIT. All right, it's Money Talk with Adara.
Quite a few prints to start off the week, specifically with regards to PMI. At 9:45, we got this S&P Global U.S. Manufacturing PMI for November, coming in a bit higher than expected, 49.7 versus 48.8 expected. Then at 10 a.m., we got the ISM Manufacturing PMI here. This ISM number also higher than expected for PMI, 48.4 versus 47.7 expected, and 46.5 for the month of October. Then we also got at 10 a.m. the October month-over-month change here in construction spending, once again above expectations, 0.4% versus 0.2% expected. One number here below estimates was going to be ISM manufacturing prices paid. Other than that, though, everything seemed to be above expectations. We're going to have comments from Fed's Waller actually during Power Hour at 3:15 today. Then at 4:30, we'll get comments from Fed's Williams. And tomorrow, a bit of a lighter day for economic data, with the exception of JOLTS job openings, bright and early at 10 a.m. Let's see if those give any move to the market. In terms of the DXY is moving, though, it's worth noting, nice little bullish engulfing candle, taking out the last almost 3 days here of action after a pretty weak movement last week for the U.S. dollar. Let's see if this pushback to the upside maintains for the month of December, guys.
USD been strong. I mean, look, at least regards to the Canadian dollar, been kicking a little bit, but you know, if you've been following along, you understand there was some really harsh comments about some potential tariffs over Canada and Mexico, in addition to adding in China. I think it's a little bit overblown. It's just a negotiation tactic, and some of the numbers you hear come January, it'll probably be slightly lower, but it hasn't hurt the USD strength certainly versus the CAD, which makes it annoying to shop. But then when 90-something% of the stocks go in the U.S. dollars, it doesn't really matter ultimately. Thank you very much to the markets. Here's Apple. The only thing I don't like about this 240, it's holding 240 right now, is this. It's already got one bit of a topping tail candle in here. So you have a bit of a wick above this 240.25, and then you're putting a potential lower high in here. The Nasdaq starting to roll over. So I haven't done any reload on Apple here in this pullback. It doesn't look all that great for now off the 240. And if we see VWAP, I'm out. If we lose this 239.80 level, sorry, 239.90 level where we had to stop after we got that first scalp trade. So if we lose 239.90, I'm going to jump out of it. I can tell you this much: we're getting some better fills off these breakouts than we were previously. So I think Edge A is starting to look good again, getting that 03. Intel's at VWAP. I feel like if it closes under VWAP, I'll probably take another leg out and then wait for it to try to reload off the 24.5 or the 24.60 level. As once again, Intel gets to 25, the sellers jump right back into the stock, and it can't seem to hold on to VWAP. SMCI looked like it was pulling back a little bit deeper, and now it's headed right back in for the top. This is one I don't mind taking a few more pot shots at the dip buy. Because I feel like if you hold 38.5 here, you got $1.50 to the top. It gives you a better risk to reward than sort of jumping in willy-nilly on Apple, which probably going to be more calm during lunchtime in Apple than you are on SMCI. This should provide a few more trading opportunities. So I don't mind trading this one away from VWAP, but I'll be more patient when it comes to Apple.
Yeah, remember the Apple break was actually broken, came right back down. So just remember that one. There are going to be some, like that's how I got the 05s, like it broke, and I think it only went to maybe 03s or so. And then it came right back in, I think it went to 92s or so.
I had 91.
Which is what we're trying to play off of right now on Apple. So Palantir, I mean, all right, so we have 25% left. So you could probably guess shares and all that kind of stuff, but there it is, 66.70, just noticing. So I'm going to put 5% of the total in general, so we can have 20% left after this. If we get back up to that 66.60, this is going to be a 6-to-1 trade idea that we gave out there, right? We always talk about trying to get it back to the 50-period moving average, but obviously as this continues to go, fine. We won't have any red blemishes today, but we will have a flat stock. That's going to be NVIDIA, down a cup of coffee here as it eventually wound up breaking. I mean, I was holding for the moon. We could know that this was, like, that's 139.60. This out is 140.18, so that's still 60 cents or 58 cents, and then we kept on taking a little bit, but these were just like small pieces out, and then we put it back on there, able to get it out, but then it dropped, so that was like a flat trade, and then right here we tried again off 139 before eventually it breaking and getting out at 80. So yeah, it didn't move exactly the best way for us there, but this name is, here comes Palantir. I was going to wait for, okay, there we go, we'll take a 64. Did I get it? Yes, I did. All right, so I was going to wait for 68s there just randomly because that's where the 50 period is, but we'll take a 64 right there, 52 cents there on that one. Intel, I'm probably just going to take it out. I mean, I got to get out of here. I'm going to be going over, do some swimming here. But Apple, 240.30, let's just try to get some out. Last time we had held up, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. Today is a trophy day, so we'll just hold up right here. Connor Brown, go Leafs, go. Right now, I think he's in Ottawa now, though, as we go. So there it goes. Nice little move there as Joseph Wall continues to play quite well between the pipes there, and Anthony Stolarz as well as the Maple Leafs, hopefully looking like they'll make first round appearance this year.
They're gonna do much better
maybe
than
a
that.
second round, and then maybe a third round, but we will see what happens. Mitchie Marner playing for a nice big ass contract.
I think the Leafs are going to do great this year.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, there are, like, Obi-Wan, you're our only hope, right? Like, it's basically like, that's what Toronto fans feel like saying that. Like, Toronto Maple Leafs, you're our only hope at the end of the day, because the Raptors aren't doing much of anything. And, the Argos won, but no one cares about the CFL. In the general sense, they're not the major sport. But the Raptors are going to get a great pick this year.
Hopefully. Maybe not. I don't know. They won yesterday.
I don't know if there's a saying for Cooper Flag, but someone needs to come up with one. But drag for Flag, the kid is legit, and I can only imagine. You can start to imagine Cooper Flag next to Scotty Barnes. That'd be sick, because then you have two dudes. You can switch everything. They can both handle the rock. 6'8", 6'9". I think Flag is like he's like 6'8", 6'9". Both those two guys, they can pass it, they can rebound. I'd love to see it, but somehow I feel like the conspiracy theorist in me is like Cooper Flag's not going to go to Canada. So no matter what happens where we finish, I feel like we won't win the lottery because they'll want to make sure he goes to a U.S. team. That's neither here nor there. So Apple just did this again. With only 3 minutes to go, Apple was cruising, looking like it was going to do the nice hold of the 240, the higher low, and then break out. But once again, the 240.5 level gets abjectly rejected and your trend back down. So I don't want to turn this one into a red one. Like, I don't mind having a red stock. I've got 3 of them to 2 green, but combining all 3 red is half of what any one of the green stock is. And Apple's one of them. So I don't want to give it back. If we're going to get VWAP, we're going to wait for VWAP. And that's what it's all about in here today. So if it's going to get there, I'm not holding a 240 all the way back in. That's not my style of trade. And then as far as Intel goes, we did talk about it trying to hold VWAP. There it is. This is the strongest it's looked since the pre-market when the Gelsinger news was announced. In terms of consolidation, consolidating now at VWAP, you were underneath there at the 24.5 level. CEO retiring, that's absolutely right. This PPBT, I want to call it Pabst. This is going to halt down now, this stock. So this is a no-fly zone, automatic no-fly zone stock for me. Now that you can't stay open for more than a couple of minutes. If you're in it, no one ever went broke taking profits, but usually you want these off consolidations. As it heads back down, it would be at least interesting back in around the $7 level, I would think. So this one off to the races. It's got a nice level, like I said, that's 7 and maybe even 8, just because it's a prior high. I think that'd be a good spot for it to calm itself down here. But when a stock opens up and can't stay open for more than a couple of minutes, 5, I think, minutes at top recently, that's a no-fly zone for myself as a day trader. And you want to see it start to consolidate so you can do some kind of a trade with a reasonable risk that doesn't have you holding through said halt. So I do have eyeballs on this. And there was one other stock we wanted to get to. That would be SMCI. Still no dip into VWAP, still no break of 40, but those are the two places I'm looking here. SMCI at VWAP or just a clean 40 break at some point throughout lunchtime. Only about a minute to go. It's been a good morning, but with the market trying to pull back in here, you want to be a little bit patient with your dips. A little more aggressive early, but I think now is the time to preach a little bit of patience, trying to pick up some bids here.
Yeah, we talked about, sort of where we were at 9:32, where we are now. We're going to be higher now than where we were, but the trading was so great to begin with. We only have 30 seconds left to go on our day rate now, but I mean, it started off with Gelsinger news. I mean, and there goes Intel. Intel was an absolute banger off the jump. Palantir as well. I mean, these dip buys into Palantir. How good were those, man? Back and forth, back and forth. I mean, great stock, great name, PLTR. I love you long time for sure there. NVIDIA, whatever. Again, no, not really a red mark as we were saying there. Apple, huge trade. Huge trade all day for Apple. We're going to hold on into this one as well. So, yeah, man, I mean, just really good. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're back at 2 o'clock. But right now it is 11. It is. You let me know if when you guys are ready over there. They're good to go. Thanks, Neil. Great day. We had a great one over here. I'll be back very, very soon. We'll see what's going to be for lunch. I didn't get the email, or else I would have told everybody. Maybe they will when it goes. Fabian, now just added. Now the 3 most handsome people working at Trader TV Live is now on the stream. Let's start over. Good day there today, Neil.
Why is he holding a broom is what I want to know.
He does whatever he wants. All right, let's go back over to the show. See you, everybody.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That's your boy, the Chilean Nightmare. That's your other boy, Joey Options. And I'm Sharif. We're going to wait for it. We're going to come.